Yeah, we know.
Jason, you want your thing on?
What's that?
The thing on your head.
Your condom.
Oh yeah, no. My who?
The condom on your head.
You know Jason don't use condoms. Come on now.
Hey man. All right. That's one.
Oh, you keep it count? Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Like the energy. Y'all ready?
Nah, we ain't liking that energy at all.
No? Yes?
Maybe.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Goodness gracious.
Jason had to load? Like, what was that?
He did. It was loading. Like, hello,
Yeah.
he done froze up.
Man, we're back to dial-up.
AOL.
AOL, yeah.
Hey, that was Jazz era though. Let's relax.
It was your era too. Relax. You was in the same AOL chat rooms as me. All right, let's go ahead and get this started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Was It Good Though podcast. We are a podcast where we discuss movies, shows, old and new, discuss, review, rate, debate, argue. We're going to try to move away from the argument on this episode. Peace, nothing but peace, my brothers. I am one of your hosts, not the prayer hands. My name is Jazz. I am joined with Jason. Jason, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, blessed and highly flavored.
Amen. Did he say flavored?
I did.
Said flavored.
Hey, that just goes along with that tweet about, we don't want you fresh out the shower. I want you to do a few squats or something.
Hey, whoa.
Jazz, back to you.
Okay.
What's your timeline? Jason's timeline is crazy.
All right, so we have our other host, Chris. How are you doing this evening?
Can't complain. How you doing, Jazz?
I'm good. I'm excited for this episode. All right, so this is episode 16. This is our part 2. Where we will be reviewing Atlanta season 3. So our format will be different. Like we said on our last episode, which was episode 15, where we discussed the standalones. This episode, we will be discussing the crew. Yes, our main 4. So if you have not seen Atlanta season 3, please be sure to pause the pod because no spoilers. So this is your spoiler warning right here. So if you keep going, it is what it is. But before you turn the pod off, please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, rate, share, all of that good stuff. We love hearing feedback from you guys and just engaging from episodes and clips that we drop on our socials. All right. So the first 2 are me. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right. So this is episode 2 of season 3. And I got the episode names and number for you, Jason. I came ready.
Jazz ready, boy. I hope Jason ready.
All right, so the first episode, and I know Jason's gonna correct me if I say this wrong. It is Stickler Claus is coming to town. I said it right. You said what?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus coming to town.
Correct.
All right. Thank you, Jason. So we open up with Ern in the bed. And so if you saw episode 1, that episode ended with Ern waking up in the bed. And then the screen just went black. So now we're picking back up. Ern's still in the bed. He's just chilling. He's just waking up. And we see someone we don't know beside him. We don't judge. Ern gets out of the bed. And he's trying to get himself together, Got to go to the restroom. And then his phone is blowing up. And so we see different messages. He's got a flight to catch, I believe. Hey, why are you shaking your head, Jason?
Because it seems as if Ern is still up to Ern things. He just super irresponsible type.
I mean,
but that's not him at all this season.
We see a very good character development from Ern. So I definitely I like to see that. But anyway, so Ern has to rush to go to the airport. Ern, he's trying to speak to the young lady that is in the bed with him. Well, that was in the bed with him. Like, where's his belt and underwear? Sis don't know what he's saying. And he's got to go. So he got to do what he got to do. He just left. And that's funny because we're going to get a call back from that later on. So we see Ern calls Darius. Darius is out somewhere, chilling, got an umbrella, high, but Darius is always high. And so he asked where Paperboy was, and he said Paperboy was in jail. What done happened with Paperboy? Like, what's going on? So Ern said he'll handle Paperboy. He just asked Darius to go pick up Van from the airport because Van is also there, and the crew is in Amsterdam. So Van flies in. Ern is like, please, Darius, go get Van. And then Ern gets to the airport because he has a flight to catch. And have y'all been through security in the airport before? You got to put your hands up so they can do the whole scan.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why. I come prepared for stuff like
right.
this.
Just in case if you got to get that good old search. Anybody that's traveled have been there. So Ern goes through the metal detector and it goes off. Ern is like, oh shit. He does not have a belt or his underwear. So we just gonna call them TSA. I'm not sure what they are in other countries. TSA is like, I need to pat you down. Ern is like, nah, you can't do that. He said, sir, I gotta do it. So Ern, he shows all the people around airport security his package. And so that was kind of awkward because his pants just dropped to the floor.
Yeah.
Chris, why you make that face?
That's embarrassing. I would hate for that to happen at the airport, but
right. But then we go to Van and Darius. He goes and picks her up. They have a driver for the day. How did y'all feel about this exchange between Van and Darius? Because correct me if I'm wrong, we don't really see them in like shots together through Atlanta. I never really see them together.
Well, the one of the best, outside of the Teddy Pendergrass, but Teddy Perkins episode, the Drake episode, it was just him and her. Besides her friends,
I was about to say Wanda was there.
Yeah, I was saying besides her and her friends, Derek, they ran into there. She was like, "What are you doing here?" And he was with them. He was technically with Wanda.
Well, I guess time. But I guess just them two together.
But it was. Like I said, both. I feel like they have the most range to me as far as of the four. Not saying that Brian isn't talented or Donald isn't talented, but Lakeith and Zazie, super talented. So seeing them on the screen, it was Darius awkward. So that interaction was super awkward because he was like, you and Aaron gonna pop a baby out, like, bro, what? Like that's the second question that comes to your mind in there. What about you, Chris?
I thought it was funny because Darius is so random. He's probably my favorite out of the four because he's just so random. He was like, my balls was crushed as a kid. It's just like, oh, sorry. But he said it so nonchalantly where it's just like, oh, it's fine. It's just my balls. I'm like, no, like this is sort of a big deal. But I thought it was interesting. Then we'll go on through the season. But one thing I learned rewatching the show is how, especially with the main crew, the standalones, that's a different beast. But with the main crew, I made it a note to pay attention to like certain dialogue and certain character behaviors and everything like that. So I was really paying attention to Van and just certain things she was saying. She didn't seem to be herself. I'll say that. She was, out of her element. I think she said something like she wasn't really supposed to be here or something to that effect when she was talking to Darius. So, it was just like she was tagging along, but she didn't really have like a purpose for being there. Like she's not on tour with Paperboy. Her and Ern aren't together, anymore. So it's an interesting little dialogue there, but we'll get more into it as the episodes progress.
Right. And then we go to Ern. He arrives at the concert venue. And so just seeing him in this element was so weird because we really don't see Ern doing any like business moves.
Yeah.
And Ern just rolls up in there. He's just like, yeah, this is my driver. You need to go ahead and pay him. And Paperboy needs $20K today.
Yeah.
Like
nothing.
just rolling up on somebody, just like, oh yeah, I need $20K. And I think it was the concert promoter. He's just like, all right, okay. He's like all excited for the concert. A Paperboy coming, so he gives Ern the money, and it's just like, oh yeah, and I need a driver, so I need money for that too. And I was just like, Ern's energy is a lot different,
yeah,
compared to how we left him in season 2. And then I believe we get to Paperboy, and we see Paperboy in jail.
Paperboy.
I'm not gonna lie. This room look nice, y'all. Like,
I'm with you, Jay.
It did. It really did. I was just like, well, damn. And then he's got like a menu of ordering food. I was just like,
it wasn't even like the security guard was like a waiter at the restaurant. He was just like, you need anything else, sir? He's just
and
like,
this is the like you said, security. It's a cop, and he's just so excited to be taking Paperboy's order.
Yeah.
And then
it was funny. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say it was funny because he got bailed out by Earn. I think it was Earn bailed him out, and he was just like, "Yeah, I just get my food first, take a nap, then I come out." So Paperboy ain't even tripping. He like, "No, I'm living right now. I'm stress free. Like, let's get to it."
Right, and then he was just like, "Oh, can you go ahead and turn that temperature? It's a little chilly in here." And he was like, "Do you want me to turn the light down too?" He said, "Yeah, do that." It's just like, there's no way this is your prison system because that's insane. But so back to Darius and Van. So Darius picks Van up and they go shopping because she needs a jacket because she's cold and they lost her luggage. Which
Psych.
You said what?
Psych.
He's saying psych like they didn't lose their luggage.
They didn't lose their luggage.
Yeah.
Oh.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. We get there.
I was like, what is Jason talking about? But
Jason already on episode 10. Like
but so they go try to get Van a jacket. So then Darius is just like, sorry if it was awkward for me to ask you about Earn. And she's just like, why don't you just ask me something real? And Darius didn't even hesitate. He was just like, why are you here? And so then she starts to say that she was trying to get a job, but then she didn't get it, so she needed to leave to clear her mind. And Chris, to piggyback on what you said, you start to hear dialogue from Van that what she's saying is just like all connecting. Yeah. And then we see later on how that unfolds. But so she's just digging through the pockets. When y'all go try on clothes, like jackets specifically, do y'all put your hands in a pocket to see if anything is in there?
Oh yeah, but I don't know if I do it like instinctively to see if something's there. I think I do it just like out of habit. Right. But I mean, after watching this, yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to see if somebody may have left a 20 in there, maybe some AirPods. I don't know, something, a little parting gift.
What about you, Jason?
I can't. I mean, kind of like you said, I think that's just a habit. Just you want to make sure everything feels right when you put it on. But I'm definitely not feeling for anything when I'm trying on clothes. Well, when I did try on clothes, really don't do that no more now. Really.
Right.
No, that's facts.
Would y'all, if y'all found an address in a jacket pocket, would y'all have?
Nah.
You wouldn't have gone on that adventure?
If I was in London, if I was in Europe, maybe, but not in America. It's kind of wild out here right now.
You don't think it's wild over there?
I'm curious if it is. Maybe a little worse.
I don't think it's as wild as it is here. Maybe having knife fights over there though. So I don't know.
Nah.
But then we have Paperboy and Earn. Paperboy woke up from his nap, had his dinner. And so they leave the jail, and then Paperboy's like, where's that thing I needed? Which was the 20K. So we remember, like, when I saw this episode, I was just like, I'm not used to them having money like that to where they can just, be like full-on celebrities. So when he got that 20K, he just threw it up where all those people were that was screaming his name. I was just like, oh, they not elevated.
Yeah, I was sick when I first seen that. I was just and then you can see it on Earn's face too. You kind of look like, this nigga really just throw 20K to like a bunch of, it's just, but I think that's, like you said, his character development because Earn seems a bit more responsible now. He has like, obviously they built up Paperboy's career and everything, so he's mad successful. That's more work on Earn, who's the manager now. Paperboy, he's, he rapping, he just living life in Europe. It don't seem like he really taking stuff that serious. Like even, him going to jail. He was just kind of like, oh, it's whatever. I'll get out eventually. And then Earn is just like, my life is on the line here. Like, what you doing?
I mean, looking at this, you gotta think about the first episode that we seen. Well, it was the second. When they went to jail, when the show actually came on, that was a completely different, hostile environment. You see police brutality to a mental patient in jail, and just a shooting that lands them in jail. So yeah, this here was a cakewalk compared to what they did. And then they didn't. I mean, so Paperboy, he was in the streets, so he was. Like I said, he like he said on here, he said on one episode, he said, I shot niggas. Like,
Yeah.
So so like for that, it's a completely different thing. But back to you, Jazz.
Nah, that's funny. But then we see them walking down the street, and then we start to see what's happening in the streets of Amsterdam around this time.
Bruh.
So what did y'all think when y'all saw that baby with the black face? Did y'all want to like? What did y'all think? Like,
I want to ask Jazz, what did you think?
Man, I was just like, man, I don't know.
You seen that?
I punt this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jazz about to turn into a punter, bro.
Yeah.
You seen that gift when he punted the baby away? Jazz probably jumped out of the chat when the episode aired.
And then like the baby was like waving, and then here go Ern waving back at the baby, and it's just like, the hell is this? And then they get up to Paperboy's driver, and they ask him like, what's up with the blackface? And then the driver just looked like, what's blackface? Like, he just seems so confused, but different country, different culture. But so he explained what the whole blackface thing was. And I don't remember exactly specifically everything he said, but I just remember Ern's response was, oh, so like Santa Claus is slave.
Yeah.
Because they said it was some
y'all rebranded Santa Claus.
Oh, okay. Because then it was like he went down a chimney, which is what made him black.
Yeah.
Like
just his face. Only his face.
Right. Exactly, Chris. Because then the driver also made it seem like it's just for kids. But as we see in the episode, nah, this ain't no small thing that's celebrated from kids. Nah. And so it was weird. Like, I didn't know what to think when I first saw it. I was just like, what the hell going on? But we got Darius and Van get to the address, and Van pretends to be, I think, a photographer, or she says that Darius is a photographer. And so all of these people get into the shuttle to go to another address. At this point, I'm just like, all right, y'all doing way too much. Just, you don't know where you going to end up. Like, but y'all have gone on an adventure like that. If it was you and like two of your friends.
If I had some people with me, yeah, I probably would. If I was with me, I'd definitely ride.
Yeah, that's a little bit different if you have people, And then out of the whole crew, if anybody would do it, we know it'd be Darius. So I guess it's on brand for everybody.
Right, and that's definitely a good callback because we see Darius in I want to go on an adventure phase through this season. Damn, and probably the new one too. But anyway, so they're in a.
Yeah, you're right.
You caught it.
Yeah, I got you. I was thinking back to episode 1. I was like, oh yeah, you're right.
So they're on their way to this another house, and it's a bunch of random white people in a shuttle with them. And I'm just
still ain't catch it.
What?
He don't get the adventure phase for Darius in season 4, episode 1. He's still confused.
Because I'm thinking about Blue Blood in Paperboy.
No, that was episode 2. Episode 1, when everybody was basically split up.
Yeah, that was him. That was the Blue Blood episode.
Blue Blood.
That's what Al did while he was running from the wheelchair lady.
Yeah. And Paperboy too, on a scavenger hunt adventure.
Yeah.
I guess they're trying to find themselves because I feel like that's what season 3 about.
I mean, we're here now.
Exactly.
Chris, relax. No, stop.
I say no.
Stop it. But we get to this house and we're not exactly sure what's going on. The people that were in the car with them were in all white. So there was white people in all white. And so they get to this house. Chris, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so
did you get midsummer vibes with all these people dressed how they was dressed?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was really culty.
Yeah, that's a crazy. But go ahead, Jazz, because I'm gonna go back to that. That's crazy.
Did you just come up with that, Jason? Or was that in your notes?
No, it's not in my notes, but I mean that's what I thought when I watched it.
Oh, okay. So we see a body in there and a bunch of people around it, and it's like it was given like you should have been in a hospital for this, but you at somebody's house.
Yeah.
And it was just, there's no way I would have walked into that house. I would have walked in, saw that black man in there, and then walked right out. But I thought it was funny because soon as Darius and Van walked in there, Darius said, I know exactly who that is. That's Tupac. He was like, I felt the thuggish energy when I walked through the door. And I'm like, what? Can you imagine walking through a door and you feel thuggish energy? That shit gotta be intense.
I do it whenever I pull up in Memphis. I cross the bridge. That thug in me just amplifies. It's like if I was Goku and I ate a senzu beam. Like, damn,
he don't even sound like believable, right?
He's like, oh God, oh my mama. Every time I pull up in Memphis, like, yeah, nigga, what's up? We back home now. Everybody got the same energy, so I'm gonna tone mine down just a little bit because you don't know what they got going. But yeah.
Okay. Chris, do you get this thuggish energy as well?
No, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna stay true to myself. I don't. I'm just me. I just come out and say, hey, I'm back. No, I'm good.
What would y'all have thought when y'all walked in? Like, if y'all would have walked into this house and seen this?
There's way too many white people. You gotta leave. Like, they was the only three. It was like Tupac and then Van and Darius was the only ones, right?
And the guy on the gong.
That is, that's nah. I would have had some.
I mean, me personally, I was the schools I went to where they typically were predominantly white. By the time I got in high school, the black people took over, and of course, the white people were trying their best to annex the area to get us out of those schools. But yeah, so I'm kind of used to being in those white crowds. You probably wouldn't know that talking to me, but yeah, I'm definitely used to those crowds.
All right, so we get back to Ern and Paperboy. Paperboy's room is destroyed. And so we're starting to realize exactly what happened for Paperboy to get in jail. So excuse me, hold on. I gotta mention this because it was a scene where they walk into the hotel and the adults working there had on blackface.
That's right.
And so one of the guys was like, hey, sir. Paperboy's like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, they was just so pissed off. But Ern walks into the room and they just like, what happened? And Paperboy was just, he didn't even want to talk about it. And then we see Paperboy had two ladies with him the night before. The words nigga bitch dropped and a fight broke out between the ladies. It got kind of crazy.
Did the name drop Rihanna? Didn't one of them say Rihanna?
One of them did say Rihanna.
Yeah.
I was like, yikes. And Paperboy just sitting there like, this ain't what y'all here for.
Yeah, nah.
I would have been so upset.
I'm sure, Jason.
I would have probably jumped the white girl.
To where you could at least have one on your side?
Yeah.
Jason said, I'm leaving here with something.
I'm finna help her win and I'm gonna win. Come on. Teamwork, baby.
That's actually smart, but you know.
It is. I'm not even gonna front. I'm gonna give you that. But
it come to threesomes, I'm gonna give me one.
All right. So we're back to Van, Darius, and Tupac. So Van walks up to the body. I'm not exactly sure what is going on with Van or why she thought that was a good idea. But she says a few words to him. And some of the words were, it's okay. And he could hear her because he was obviously a little responsive. And for somebody like Van, it's like, it's okay. And then for what to happen the way that he died, I would be so pissed if I was him. Like,
you feel like he knew what was coming. He knew what was coming.
Jason,
he knew that was coming.
He had to, right?
No, I feel like he knew he was going to die, but not get suffocated like that. And it's not even just a regular suffocation. Like, that's what we said Midsummer. Like, it reminded me of something that would happen on Midsummer, like a sacrifice or something. Because the thing just came down so quick and just. Like,
he up there, he choking, he kicking his feet. Like, come on.
Like, man.
That scene was crazy. I was like, what?
It was. And in this episode, this is where we do realize that something is going on with Van because she's talking to the death doula, which is why she was able to step up with the lady, step up with her to speak to this man in this episode. she told her, actually, that's when she comes into it like, hey, I just came here aimlessly. I don't know what I'm doing. And, I think I recently heard this from somebody who was talking to me that was like, you're stepping in your purpose, even if you don't know, what it is. Something brought you here for a reason. So just continue. And she was fit to tell her she's been having panic attacks, and she gets, I always call it like fish bubbles. Like she started thinking about she see devil eggs and she just stops talking about it. And that's the last you hear about Van. But she's not in a good space at this point.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, with the small pieces of dialogue that he's paying attention to, even like you said, panic attacks or like missing out on the job and stuff like that. She's in a whole different like country, so all of that stuff compiled on top of everything she was dealing with, you could just tell something wasn't right. But I thought that was a good thing that they pieced together so far for this episode.
Right, and then we get the scene where the guys are at the show. So Paperboy's about to go on stage, and then Earn just sees the crowd. Crowd is full of white people with blackface on and afros. I don't know where the afro came from. That was.
I guess this is what happened when you go down the chimney, give you afro.
Man,
that's a crazy chimney.
That's wild. And so Paperboy looked out. He was just like, man, they're not performing. And I mean, I get it, because that's crazy to see. Like, all of y'all in blackface. Like,
yeah.
Would y'all have performed?
No. Aaron seems to have his back, and you have to have some type of integrity, which throughout the season you kind of see Paperboy does have a pretty good moral compass for the most part. So yeah, no, I wouldn't have done it.
Nah, I ain't doing that.
And plus, I mean, the dude can file it through the insurance, and like Aaron told him, you could probably make more money doing that than you would if he would have performed. But I don't remember the promoter's name, but he was just like, I'm going to destroy you. And Ern just laughed at him and walked away, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, he did not take him seriously at all.
He didn't, but then he started chasing Ern.
Yeah, that's
so
me.
Random.
My energy right there. I would have did like Ern, got down.
You would have ran.
Yes.
But you running towards somebody that's shooting an arrow at you?
Yes, it's different.
Oh boy.
Okay. But so Ern leaves. Well, he's running, and then it's a crowd of people downstairs, and the concert promoter can't even find Ern, because everybody around them is in blackface, to where it kind of seems like the message is like, oh, you all think we look alike, so when you have one that goes through, you can't find them. That makes sense to you, Jason?
It does. It plays out in a different episode, but it's white people. But you can continue.
Right. But let me see. That was the end of this episode.
After he beat the dude up.
Oh yeah, he just started a random fight.
He just started beating him up because he looks like him. And then of course they get back to the hotel, and Ern finally sees Van at 4:00 in the morning getting ice.
What? Why is that so weird?
First of all, why are you up at 4:00 in the morning?
Like, no way. You got to have a certain time. Like, can't be up at 4:00 in the morning.
Not getting ice. What you getting ice for 4:00
in the towel, out the room? How she even pay for the room? First off,
where else was she gonna be at?
She wasn't in his room. She was just in a room.
Hey.
They make it work somehow, right? She got to make it work.
What?
Wait, did we get to this part yet? No. Okay, never mind. I was getting ready to say maybe how she got the room, but we're not there yet.
Oh, no.
Okay. As I said, she's going to make it work somehow, but we're not there.
All right, so since there's nothing left for that one, now we are going to episode 3, Old Man and the Tree. Ours. All right, so this is the first episode where we see the entire gang all together.
We're back, baby.
Yes, they back. I'm not gonna lie, like, I love seeing the entire group together.
Yeah.
Like, the energy and everything is just so good. So I appreciate seeing all of them together. but they are on their way to a billionaire's house.
Yeah.
Fernando.
So I thought this was funny. Because they're walking, and when they get to the house, everybody's like, what the hell is this? And so they just like, like, what's going on? And Van says, this looks like something from Tales in the Hood.
Oh, they got you excited.
So, well, I'm gonna reference back to this.
Okay.
One shot. But just remember that, like she said, this whole area looks like something from Tales from the Hood. So they get to the address. Some lady opens up the door, and then one of Van's associates comes in who invited them to the party. And so they walk through this nasty ass looking house, like trash, everything on the floor. And then they go through like a secret door. On the other side, it's just like turns into a millionaire's house because it was so nice. It was a bunch of people in there. And it was funny because Paperboy and Darius was just like, oh yeah, this is a billionaire's house right here. They was just so excited. How would y'all have reacted in that? Like,
man, that was crazy. They had a Nando's in there too. I would have.
Yeah.
It was lit. It was lit. That entire, situation. But like Darius said, that had to be a decoy house.
Right.
Yeah.
Get inside of here. So yeah, now that was slick. That was slick. I wonder if it's stuff like that for real. But I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I definitely think it is. I thought this was funny too, seeing Paperboy's reaction to like coming up to this house, because he sort of was frustrated with Earn because Earn's his manager. So it was like a growing frustration that he seems to have towards Earn. And, before they got to like through the decoy house, he was sort of looking like he was pissed off at Earn. So I thought that was an interesting thing to take note of too.
Right. And then especially seeing when Paperboy was looking out at the view, he was just like, this is so dope.
Yeah.
And then that's when Fernando came up and started having a conversation with him. Yeah, we'll get back to them. But so then you have, I think Earn's friend, I don't remember, I didn't get his name.
Will.
That invited Will. Okay. So Will is talking to Earn. He's like, so is that your girl? And he's like, no, she's not an artist. And so Will wanted to introduce Earn to one of his creative associates.
Yeah, I forgot dude's name.
TJ.
Yeah.
Man, that trash. So
shout out to TJ, man. Shout out to TJ. Get that bag, young brother.
Here we go. Jason, I'm gonna let you cover TJ's. So we get to Will introduces Earn and Van to TJ. Jason, I'm handing TJ off to you.
So TJ, he, like I said, he's an artist or creative in the UK. He's pushing his art. He's got Will to back him into what he's doing. He's doing installations inside this man's house. But his plan is to create basically an influencer house to a certain extent. We just seen this on Bel Air.
Yep.
That's what he wants to do in his house, which that's just triggering my head just right now. So he comes and shows what the actual artwork is, and it's total crap. It's a naked white man with just like, I don't know, paper mache type stuff.
Was he in a MAGA hat?
It was a red hat. I don't recall it being a MAGA hat, but it could have been.
There might have been an implication, maybe.
Yeah, just like a random white guy. And Earn is like, he's in two places. He's looking at this art like, bro, what is this? Like, this sucks. And this guy's kind of push it. And then we got part two. He looking at Van, because Van in this party, she's been stealing stuff. She's just walking around looking crazy. He's trying to keep an eye on her at the same time. So they end up leaving out of the actual room. And then Will's like, hey, what do you think about this? What should we do? And then it's like hella funny because as he's talking to him, he's looking at Van and she's walking off. She's like trying to sneak away. And he looks to the right. And you hear somebody texting, and it's TJ at the top of the stairs. Then him and Will talk again. He was like, yeah, I'm trying to, he look over, Van's gone. He looked back to the side, TJ at the bottom of the stairs now, still
I love this shot.
He slides up, he's like, wait, let me tell you. And that's when he, basically tells him about, this is, art, a place for influencers, and we're just trying to push this different this different style and get different people in here to be able to push these things. And there's like, let me check to see if Doja Cat people is doing this because I heard something back in the States, and I'm gonna get back with you. But yeah, that was TJ Wildin, but I respect the move.
Yeah, I thought that scene of him being up the steps. I thought that was hilarious.
And he was in skates, so he was moving. He was. So he moving like he sneaking around the house in skates. Like, that's wild.
But you can hear him, like, you're not quiet. And it was hardwood floor.
You can hear the phone. I don't think you can hear his steps. You only can hear the phone like he was texting.
That's kind of weird though. Like, if somebody is on hardwood floor, ain't no way you're gonna say you can't hear the skates. So I'm pretty sure they did that on purpose, but that's hilarious. And so we got Darius.
Boy, this this is my favorite part of the episode, honestly.
I'm gonna give it to you, Chris.
Yeah, so we get Darius, and he's in the kitchen pretty much, and he asks this woman to pass him something. I don't remember exactly what the food item was, but she's like, "Oh no, I'm in a relationship," showing off her ring. And has this ever happened to y'all before? Like, you just maybe ask somebody something, and they just be like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend, I have a girlfriend." Has that ever happened to y'all?
No.
I always hear about
it. Wouldn't matter.
Okay, so back to Darius. He's asking this woman who was mistakenly feel like, that he's trying to hit on her, and she's just like, "Oh, I have a bunch of black guys always try to hit on me, blah blah blah." And then she switches from like super defensive to like, "I have a boyfriend," to like, "Oh, what's your name?" And just like complimenting him like she's interested. So it was just really funny how she just switched up. Her name is MK. She's an Asian woman. And then we, she's pretty much just like, she mentions her fiance, which is a key, point that we should bring up. But then we get to Socks, who, not SOX, but he made sure to point that out. But he's pretty much, just trying to start stuff. And, this is just a random like dude who just comes out of nowhere, but you can sort of tell that he's going to be an integral part of the episode, the storyline. So when I first saw him, I'm just like, what is he trying to do? And then he just straight up lies off top, trying to accuse her of being racist. But this whole scene was funny, just how it plays out eventually over the episode.
Right. And especially being that he came into the scene
all
hyped up, and Darius was just like, "I'm not sure what you thought you saw. Like, your energy seems like to be misdirected."
Yeah.
But as they were having a conversation, I thought this scene was hilarious because Socks takes his hat off. And so just looking at Darius's face, Darius is just looking with so much confusion. He's like, your hairline is intense. Which is to say that, because so it's funny because how the camera is angled, we see the back of Socks's head and some hair sticking up, and we see Darius's face. But then it switches to where we're seeing the back of Darius's head, and we're seeing what Darius is seeing. And Sock's hair is so fucked up.
But his hairline started like right here. And then like everything else is just straight up. It's like, nah.
It was insane. And so they're having a conversation. He's just like, "You might want to cut that," or just about his hair, of how he should style it. But I thought that scene was hilarious because I was just like, now I see why he keeps the hat on. But Socks ain't shit.
Man, listen.
At all. And so we go to Paperboy. He is playing poker with Fernando and his squad. I thought this scene was dope because when you listen to the story that Fernando was telling, it featured a ghost, a black ghost that was wet and ashy at the same time. I still don't know how that can happen, but it is what it is. Because Paperboy said, "How is a ghost wet and ashy at the same time?" But it made me think of of Black from episode 1, because he obviously was pulled into the water. So, you thought that too, Chris?
No, I when I got the ghost reference, I think I caught it my first watch, but then during my rewatch, it sort of made a little bit more sense when we get through the story. I was just like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
So I'm not telling y'all nothing that y'all didn't think of?
I didn't think about that, actually.
Yes. Okay.
Jesse, I got one.
Hey man, small victories. I love it.
Hey man.
Man, they tried to play Paperboy though when he went into the room like he didn't have the money.
Right. He was just like, oh, I got that. Threw all the money on the table. He was just like, nah, I got money. Fuck all of y'all.
5, 10, 15, 20. There you go.
And he just threw some more on the table just because.
Right. But then we see that game play out as he's having a conversation. Paperboy is winning. He's like getting all their money. Yeah. Fernando is just, all right, well, you clean me dry. And then he leave. And Paperboy's like, is he about to go get my money? Everybody starts to get up. I thought that was super sketchy. Cause I'm just like,
yeah, but I feel like he kind of alluded to it though when he was talking to Paperboy, because I feel like the ghost story was like a ploy to try to get Paperboy off of his marker when he was actually trying to win the game. Like, I'm doing this to throw you off. That's what I felt like within that conversation. And he kind of goes into he like asked him if he believed in God, and he was like, I mean, yeah, really to a certain extent, he was like, I mean, there's good and bad spirits in the world. Why do you think I have so much money? The devil is just as powerful as God. And I'm just like, whoa, that's kind of on the nose with the things that you may be into, or what how you came into your money. And I know they kind of talk, and I feel like they kind of played into that ghost story to a certain, they talked about white guilt. He talked about white guilt, and we just talked about that in the previous episode. And I feel like this may have been, where that ghost was actually coming from, some guilt that he may have had from some of the things that he's been doing. But yeah.
That's good, Jason. I didn't think about that. But so Al was sitting there, he ain't got his money. Everybody leave. Which is,
everybody would have been beat up.
But I had to start shooting folks. Like, where y'all think y'all going?
Yeah, nah.
But I believe we get back to Ern and Van. Van is just
wilding.
Yo. So yeah, Van just walk around the house. She pushing people in the pool.
That was insane when she did. I was just like,
and the way she tried to play it off is like, he know it was you. And then Ern just looking from a distance. Like, Ern already is able to catch, like, something is going on. Yeah. She's not here just to be here. Like, he's trying to figure out what's going on with her, but she's just like downplaying it like it's nothing. And then we have Ern sees Paperboy. Paperboy is pissed off. He's like, Fernando took my money. I don't know where he went in his big ass house. And so him and Ern have an exchange, and then Paperboy has the idea, like, let me get something that I know that's gonna bring him out that room, like gonna piss him off. And it was that tree. Mm-hmm. I don't know where Paperboy even got the chainsaw. Do y'all know where he got it from? Because I damn sure don't.
I mean, the billionaire's house, he had a Nando's in there, so I guess having a chainsaw maybe wouldn't be that.
But where would you even? I wouldn't even think to go find a chainsaw in somebody's big old house. Man. How long did it take him to find it?
He was looking for something to get his attention. So
But during that time, did Fernando come out when
Paperboy? He never came out. Right? Paperboy found him in his room. He was like, "Hey, I need my money, man. I need my money." Which this kind of made me think about the Family Guy episode when Brian borrowed some money from school.
Oh yeah. Hey, give me my money, man. Give me my money.
He's like, "Hey, I need my money, bro. Like, what's this? You don't hear me? You sleep for real? I bet." And then he never left out that room, so he looks outside. He woke up and he seen him cutting the tree.
Right.
He never got out. He never left the room though. Nah, he wasn't doing that.
Man. And so at that point, all that's happening, they had to bounce. Everybody had to leave. They run into the car, and it's the same shuttle that was in the last episode. So they still got the same driver. Mm-hmm. Jason's thinking.
Nah, it's not because you remember. Remember that it was Sox was driving the car. So I don't know if it was the same shuttle.
Oh, that's right. I
don't know. It may like the vehicle looked the same. It may not have, but and within that all the chaos, another part of the chaos was caused because Sox is sitting there with Darius talking.
Oh, that's right.
They talking to the girl, talking to Darius MK. About how the different stuff, and it just kind of mind-boggling in how white people will within this situation. It's just like, oh my God, I feel just like, bro, I'm don't tell me how I feel about a scenario, because like when we really need you to stand up in these situations, you don't, or you have to you pick and choose when it's time for you to step in or want to step in these situations. So, what did you have, Chris? It's like you listen to.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was fake woke activism, pretty much. He was just like so outraged, and Darius is just like, nah, he like she didn't say anything crazy, but I thought it was funny too because at first it was just Socks and Darius, and then by the time we cut back to them, like they got a whole crowd of people like mad at MK, and she has no idea what's going on. Like she's just so oblivious, and she's like, "Hey Darius, I want you to meet my fiance," and they just like, "There she is!" Like pitchforks out for her and everything. So it was just funny, but we found out that MK's fiance is actually Ern's friend. I forget his name.
Well,
Will.
Will. Yeah. So, and Will is just completely outraged. He's like, zero tolerance for racism, and he ends up, breaking up with her and everything. So it's just kind of like this all happened like for no reason, and Socks somehow ends up with the crew.
right.
Man, which so we get into the next episode. I'm gonna try to do a callback. We'll see though. Jazz, let me go back to you.
Nah, I didn't have anything else to add to this episode. Did y'all have anything?
No, I mean, of course, we see, they basically left Van, but Van had already left from the party. She out eating, kicking it, ignoring text messages as she been doing the entire time anyway. So,
yeah, I think it was interesting too because she's just like so like she doesn't care at all. Like there's no consequence to anything. So we'll see that a little bit more. But no, that was pretty much it.
yeah, we will. And we get episode 5, Cancer Attack. I look at this one as a two-part, like a duality type thing. Cancer Attack, something within your crew trying to divide it, and then you have, of course, on the nose, a kid having a cancer attack at a concert. So that was kind of crazy. So we actually get to go to an event. We haven't seen Paperboy in an event. Have we ever seen Paperboy rap on like in a concert type of thing? I know we have music.
Think so.
I don't think so. Nah.
Yeah, so we go into an event. Like I said, we see the progression in Ern. Ern he's rocking, and you hear Ern voice over the speaker, and he getting everything in line at the actual show. And then we see, Al and Darius, they in the room preparing for it. They're actually having this conversation. Ern pulls up the kid from the Dream Foundation is here to actually speak to you. He's an actual cancer patient, and we see Socks. For whatever reason, Socks has now infiltrated this crew. He's riding, he's kicking it with them. Hold on. Oh crap! I got lost in my actual notes. So hold on, matrix on that. Okay, so Ern, so wherever Ern is, they have to go back into the actual event. So as Ern walking into the actual event, the guy he stopped, like previously when it comes on, you see a guy he shoots past him. This is my job. I gotta check XYZ, checking everything that's going on, and then as he gets past, you see another white guy just sneaks, no pass, no nothing. He just walks straight past to get into the show. So they're preparing for the actual show. We got Darius. He hyping up Paperboy. They finna hit the stage. And this was a nice nod to DMX, because if you look at DMX before any of his shows, he gets out, he does this like super dope prayer before he hits the stage, and then he kind of does a little bark, but it sound like a little chihuahua. It wasn't a fierce bark when it came to it, but in the middle of it, you see that the white kid that snuck past is on stage going crazy. He looked like a party promoter, maybe like a hype man type thing, getting the crowd and Ern is like, bro, get the F off the stage. Get off the stage, bro. And you see him jet. Then Paperboy comes up, he gets on stage rapping, and I don't like that why didn't they use his voice for the actual rapping? I don't like, because the voice don't look like him, it doesn't sound like him. We know it's not him.
Just threw you off.
It did. Like I'm just like, bro, like Paperboy sound like him to me, but then when you go back, it's like none of these movies don't even sound like him. Which is what's Donald Glover brother name?
I know Steve G, something like that.
Yeah, Stephen Glover. So Stephen Glover It's the voice behind Paperboy in these movies, like the rapper. That's the voice behind the rapper. Just a little tidbit to throw out there for people that didn't know.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so that's his brother that's doing the rapping for Paperboy. They leave the concert. They looking for the actual phone. Al, before the concert he had it, he was going through it, put it down, he lost his phone. So now they trying to retrace their trip. They trying to retrace their steps, and they think the kid of the Dream Foundation have stolen. Would y'all have gone the same route?
No.
Nah. And it was crazy too, because like you got to think about who actually accused the kid. It was Socks. So I'm just like, who is this guy? First of all, like, and then you
Super
accusing a kid.
loud.
Yeah, then you just accusing a kid. I'm just like, nah, this is kind of OD.
The fact that he was just like, yeah, that kid seemed weird. Like, wait, what?
The kid was just chilling. He was happy to meet Paperboy.
Right. He left with a bottle of white Henny. That kid is doing good. Like, he got cancer. Like, Socks, what does it matter with you?
Also, giving somebody a bottle of something that you had already began drinking is kind of wild.
It is.
Like just thinking back. But like, if it was your favorite artist, you may take it, you may not drink it. But then again, somebody may be sick enough to drink behind that person because it's their favorite.
Who's your favorite artist, Jason?
Beyonce.
You not gonna drink behind her?
I would drink her bath water, Jazz.
It was, you could just see it. As soon as he said Beyonce, you just know exactly.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Line it up.
Why is he clapping?
I would have a jug of it in my refrigerator. I take a sip of it every day.
Yeah, refrigerating Beyonce's bathwater is sick. Like that's
sick. That's sick, Jason.
That's insane.
Jason gonna put it over ice. Like, this man is insane.
No, I don't need nothing. I don't want nothing mixed with it. I want this pure, just straight to me. So, anywho,
wipe your mouth.
Yeah. What you better say, Chris?
I was gonna say, what album you gonna play while you drinking it? Which one you gonna play?
Oh man, I'm definitely going to the Beyonce album. Yeah, play Rocket. Yeah, that's my shit right
Cut
there.
the lights real low and drink your bathwater.
Light a
Chris
candle.
over here talking about what he gonna do if Lupita was
Listen, Lupita's different. Okay, we're like
wait.
Lupita's different. Let's move on.
Jazz, you drinking Trevante bathwater? Even though we discovered today he skips him.
Wait, you lying? That was a lie. Chris made that up. That wasn't true. That was a lie.
Did I?
You really did.
Jazz got so worried.
I was like, wait.
Jazz say six like right now.
I was like, I did not see that story. Nah.
Yeah. But they do check the kid from the Dream Foundation. Aaron goes to him. He was like, what? He have a cancer attack in the middle of the show. He's getting wheeled out, and he's like, I need to talk to him. He's like, anything for Paperboy. What? I'm like, that's your dying wish.
You gotta do the accent, Jason.
Anything for Paperboy. I suck at it. I can't. So he checks him, and everybody starts to film him and start booing him because he's checking the phone. I don't know why he just didn't say, "Hey, Paperboy is missing the phone. Do you have it? Did y'all see it?" Like,
that's just so awkward, though. Like, it's just so like
he picks his legs up.
How do you approach a kid who has cancer and be like, "Yo, I think you may have stolen, Paperboy's phone," but I don't. That's just awkward. It was funny though.
Man. So after that, he was like, there was the kid that went on the stage. The stage manager. Let's check him. So he goes to Folk to speak with him, and he asked him. He was like, "Oh, that was just my nephew." Nephew, but he kept on emphasizing through marriage. I don't know what was so important with that piece. He was like, "That's my nephew through marriage." As they're in the actual room, Ern sees the guy on a piece of paper, like a resume on a piece of paper, which is random as hell. He was like, he said he doesn't have a phone, so he can't can't reach out to him. He ain't talked to him and talk to him in a while. He picks up the paper, goes out, and they call him. They call the actual number on the phone. They put him on speakerphone. They speaking to him in socks once again. He said he's the white Liam Neeson, that he's gonna come and go kill him. And I'm just like, bruh, what?
Why would you do that? Like,
and you know what? Like, because we know he comes back up, I feel like the white Liam Neeson was so it can. I mean, of course, he's already white. Like Al.
I just caught that. I'm like, he's white. Like,
exactly, he white. So I'm looking at, but my mind went. Liam Neeson had his incident where he was talking about killing black people. So I feel like it was like I'm killing white people type situation. I feel like that's what they were trying to go with as far as white Liam Neeson, like, within that scenario. But that's a stretch. I feel like, but that's all that going there. Because unless it was just like, well, eventually Socks kind of almost says nigga. So I mean, he may feel like he black.
That scene was so funny.
Ain't no way he feel like he black.
I'm just like,
not with that hairline.
They know how they be moving.
Not with that hairline, Jason.
Nah, yeah, shout out Dwayne. So anyway, we go and sit down.
What was that shot? That's just so random.
What? You was talking about black people hairlines? Like what?
Stop. No, we are not.
Dwayne's so cool. He just getting bad shots like for
no. We're not. No, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. We are not stopping here.
All right, so they're as they're actually speaking, they in there actually talking, smoking, and Wiley, he shows back up. He shows up to the actual event, back to the actual venue. He's sitting down. They're actually talking to him, and he said he was a long time admirer. What would you guys have taken a different approach than what the guys did on here?
Yes, but I feel like my approach would have been the wrong one.
What would you have done, Jazz?
I would have beat his ass. I would have asked his uncle by marriage to go take a walk. Oh, he would have got mad because he was trolling them the entire time.
That's the thing.
Like, you knew what you were doing. You were saying lyrics from a song that was never released, that was on my phone. I asked you what your number is, and you give me my number? Oh, Jason, I'm fucking him up. So, what would y'all do?
Honestly,
I'm probably dangling him off or something. Like, I'm gonna go. We could have put hands and feet on his ass. Like, bro, what you got going on? Like,
you putting feet on people now.
Hands and feet, Jazz, all on his head. But look, so he's sitting here. The paperboy is like, this isn't a dream. He said he's in a dream because he's in the room with one of his favorite artists, and he was like, "This not a dream that that I'm on my side on my side of the spectrum. This ain't a dream at all." He was like, "What are you dreaming of?" And he started, like you said, Jazz. He starts naming things that he put in unreleased music. So he talks about the box top Chevy, which is, I mean, that's a big Southern car. So I mean that was more like anybody could have said that. But then he was talking about the kissing, a thorn on the rose. Mm-hmm. So that was more so something that was actually personal because of a woman that he was intimate with, that she cheated on him. And this upset him, and then it was like, we got to get out. And we got to go over this story again. And they talking about what they're going to do. We talk about they're going to do good cop, bad cop. In some kind of way, everything that they were saying outside, he heard on the inside. So it's like, was somebody working from both sides of the actual room? Or what was going on within that scenario? Then, they act, then Socks pops up, what do you say, man, I can't stand this. It was like, at that point, it would have been like, we could have beat his ass now. Because he's losing it. And they walk back in the room. And like I said, Wiley, we happen to see they try to treat it like an interrogation. He asked him if he wanted anything, they give him a Coke. Remember in the previous episode, Darius was talking to the guy that Chris thought was Nav. He asked him, he was like, anywhere that a Coke is placed is racism. And it was like, but not at Taco Bell because they got Pepsi. Shout out to Kendall Jenner. But what? That's where it comes from.
I love
That's
this
what
show because it like takes so many of like real life things and just implements it in like the funniest ways.
So, they have this cocaine, and he was as he's talking to Aaron, he was like, the people, they tell you that you talk white as you was growing up because you don't have the same Southern dialect that they have. So it's just like he gets into a person's psyche, and he just like it's just like he can mentally beat you within these different conversations, and then they go ahead and try to jack him up, and he farts on them as they trying to. He was like, I got a stomach issue, and it's just it's a problem, and it just happens. So I'll go ahead and he tell everybody just leave out the room and let me just stay in the room with him. And this is where we have the revelation of what Al is going through. Al hasn't been able to write music. So he hasn't written in 7 months. And here recently he finally found his voice. And it kind of was a scenario of, now the white person is taking it or stripping him of what he finally found as he, finally getting back to a place of having fun in something that he really doesn't, truly don't care about. He just was, he was bored, needed something to do. So he, he went into the rap. The kid, he texts his uncle, which remember, he don't have a phone. But some kind of way he's able to text the uncle. Cause that was the story 2 or 3 different times.
Yeah.
Phone, he was like, can I get my one phone call? And then he tells out Paperboy phone number, just basically letting them know he's the one that's done something within this scenario. And then
I don't understand how they didn't beat his ass.
Yeah.
I
also don't understand how he knew all this information. I didn't.
Yeah, because that was kind of quick for him to sit there and go through everything that that was kind of weird. Within there, and he sings this song. He was like, I kind of feel like you. I didn't empathize, I didn't sympathize, and he was just basically saying he understands the other side. He doesn't want more, and he doesn't really want less. He's kind of stuck in the middle at this point, so he didn't really know. And then as we go outside of the actual episode, they're leaving. Aaron, he texts Van to see where she is, and she sends back just a thumbs up emoji as opposed to just his actual stance. He he kind of texted her early in the episode, and we us three we talk about tone, and as far as how we talk to each other, making sure because text conversation can be misread. So he tries to check himself in how he's actually sending it to her, and she just sent him a thumbs up. And he just, you see the frustration in his face, like, bro, what's going on?
Yeah, and I think too, it had been a week. He said something like that.
6 days.
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah, like, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right.
What, Jazz?
Chris is like, that's a week.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, like, eventually it gets like weeks in that, scenario. I'm still trying to figure out how she's surviving, but it's TV. Like, damn. So we got that happens. Paperboy, he gets onto the bus. Socks apologizes for going off in the actual room, and we find out that Socks, he has the phone the entire time, and he throws it away. Do you guys think Socks was sent by the promoter in episode 2?
I didn't even think about that.
Because he said he's gonna destroy them.
That's a really good observation.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's possible now that you say it. Yeah, because this is the last time we saw Socks, right?
Yeah, this is the last episode. And I wonder if he's gonna come back up because that has to be addressed.
It has to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like it will be. But that's an interesting point you made.
Yeah. And then we go into the white fashion. The white fashion episode. I feel like this was during the time When They See Us came out. Because this is when a lot of people they shed light on the Central Park 5 scenario. So we have a scenario of a gentleman who's creating an outfit or creating some clothes, and the the cartoon character is a raccoon. Or he looks like a raccoon. He may be a skunk. I don't know. And he said he wants the inspiration was Central Park. What's the inspiration? He wants to put the number 5 on it for the years that they've been in service or they've been a company. That kind of made me, and honestly made me think about FUBU back in the day, because their number on there was 05 on the actual their uniform, the clothes they put out. It was always the 05 on there. But this is another situation of art imitating life.
Yeah.
We seen this countless of times. Khalil talks about it in the episode, how often stuff like this happens. So of course they got to bring somebody in black to correct it. Would you guys be the face of a company that has done something distasteful toward your community in this way? Would you guys have stepped in like Al?
Nah, because you sort of see like they're taking advantage of the situation for their own benefit, and then even like with Al, I don't want to call him naive, but in a sense he's sort of naive to how the world works in that sense. So he's thinking he could come in and maybe change it. He sees the other black people there, and he's thinking they on the same wavelength as him, and it's just like, nah, it ain't like that. So I don't know. It's tough to say. You got to scope it out a little bit, but I don't think I would.
Yeah, because I think it's definitely one of those situations, and then I start to realize why. I think it was Kareem who was one of the guys that was talking to Al. Is
Khalil?
Khalil.
Yeah.
So he's one of the individuals to where he already knows how the system works. He's already peeped game, so he's using it to his advantage.
Yeah.
So I guess it's one of those situations to where if you are the face, but then you realize this company, they're not going to change their behavior, but how can I benefit and help my community while being the face for this company? So it's like either don't be the face and can't help, or be the face and then try to help as much as you can.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, yeah, like being pulled into like 2 different directions. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think I would, but then I'd be like, but I can possibly help more if I'm in that area, in that space, rather than not being in that space. If that makes sense, Jason.
Yeah, no, it does. So they was talking about the Tommy Hilfiger situation, which was supposedly debunked. that wasn't true. That Tommy never said what was said to have happened.
He said that shit.
I mean, I don't know. So they're sitting there, they're kind of hungry because I guess he had some beans and eggs for breakfast, and they begin to take their order but in the actual meeting. And he's asking, well, Aaron says, so what's the financial gain, within this? And they basically there's no financial obligation. We can't give you money. We can give it to a charity. And then that's like you said, kind of like what he said, Chris. I was like, well, shit. Now let me benefit from this situation. Let me get some suits. Let me get some clothes. Let me make sure they get tailored. Let me make sure I'm good.
He wanted everything.
He was.
I mean,
but if you're gonna step in that situation,
Yeah.
shit, you might as well, benefit as much as you can. And Aaron, he was like, this kind of feel like an Uncle Tom situation to me. And he was like, "Are you worried about the streets?" And he was like, "Nigga, I shot niggas. You think I care about what they're not in my shoes. They are not in my predicament." And he was asking them, so if you were in my shoes, what would you do? And that's when Aaron says, well, for me, I would try to get on their board for 5 years, learn the infrastructure so I could then go back to the hood and maybe like reinvest in the hood type, or reinvest in my community. He was like, this nigga here. I knew you was gonna be on this MLK Spook by the Door. Shout out to Snowfall, because I did talk about this book on there, but I mean I knew about the book prior too. And he was like, but repeat it with me, Ern. They still got shot. I mean, but that's pretty much how we, in our situation, whether we obey what they tell us to do, we go our own way. Ultimately, unfortunately, we get slain. Within that scenario. And this is when we meet Khalil. He gives me like some Billy Porter vibes from Pose type thing, like, which I love Billy Porter, so it wasn't like, that's not like a shade, but it was, Khalil was just super, just wild type. What did y'all think about Khalil?
I liked him. He was funny.
Yeah, he was.
He did say something that was wild. Because he came up to Paperboy. He was just like, they have one of these like every 53 shootings.
Oh, every 73.
73.
Yeah.
73.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just like,
I remember that. Yeah.
because then it's one of those things to where it's just like, that's a lot. Like, that's a really high number. And it's just, you start to get in a routine of doing things like this to where it's like nothing is changing. And it's just,
that's what
exactly. And a lot of people just like, oh, it is what it is. It's just like, bruh, this is not nothing that we should just be okay with.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, I like this character, but when he dropped that line, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was wild because no, I was gonna say it was wild because, like, Jazz said like 70, whatever police shootings. He was just like, oh, it's just another thing, it's just another free meal. And then there was also another part when they had their, I guess, press conference and everything was going on, and the lady in the audience, she was like, so is racism over now? And he was just like, oh, it'll be over by 2024. I'm like, where'd that come from?
Right.
But he's just,
Hey,
he just didn't take it serious. It was just,
Paperboy went in there with the real mind, like a real mindset, like, man, like, fuck no, it's not over. Like, what you mean? That's when Khalil, he steps in, which, like I said, is we, pretty much have become, well, I'm not desensitized to it personally. I try not to watch it, try not to see it.
Same.
But unfortunately, these things do happen more frequently than not. Unfortunately, especially to young Black men. But we do have Black women have been getting it here recently, so it's a sucky situation on both sides to be Black right now. And then they finally have the meeting of the minds in this scenario. So they start asking the different people what they want. Al, he wants to reinvest in your hood campaign. DeMarco, which some Aaron vibes. He wants some Nikes and a business flight. Like, what the? Then you got the Sam, which I guess is a diversity board, I'm assuming, because we have some Black people, but Sam didn't look Black at all to me, and she asked for like 1,000 of her sensitivity training books to be signed and bought, and everything. That was like, nah, we ain't cut that, we ain't doing that. And then Khalil, he wanted 10 tickets to the Raisin in the Sun and some Black Panther tickets, and everybody like, oh shit, everybody wants the Black Panther 2 tickets, which at first, like, one of the first nods to a standalone episode.
Yeah.
So that was something that was, well, I guess that was Ern's dream. So I mean, I guess that was something that was actually happening anyway.
That part was funny because I think one of them said Whoopi Goldberg and Lawrence Tate is in it.
Yeah, that's what Khalil said. He was like, he was trying to get Paperboy to come with him to it, and then this one, he kind of gets mad, and he was like, DeMarco, are you even Black? Like, what? Like, what are you, like, what are you even doing here? And he's, he brushing another Aaron. He in there brushing his hair at the actual table. And then the lady, she said she was able to get out 6,000 euros, and they were trying to see where they're going to push it to. And they let Al make the deciding factor, and he was like, "Yeah, bro, they called DeMarco Dozal, which is a great Dozal shot."
Yeah,
and it was like, "Nah, I'm gonna get this to Khalil. I'm gonna let him do it." And then we have the commercial. We have this commercial. What did y'all think about the reinvest in your hood?
Bro, this commercial was insane. Because it was just like you went from every group, but like none of y'all, like, you completely missed the mark. And it was funny because I think you had like a gay couple, and then you had the Russian dude or something like that, and then you had like the stereotypical like trapper rapper like Black dude with the money, and I was just like, what is like
TJ?
Oh, that was TJ. I didn't even catch that was TJ.
When I did my rewatch, I was just like, is that TJ?
I didn't even catch that was him. Yeah, that was insane. But
It's
And
crazy because sorry to cut you off, Chris, but it makes you realize and think of all the times where you had like real life major designers have these terrible marketing ideas for design shirts. And so he just another situation where in Atlanta, art imitating life, because you see that and you just sitting here like, how do y'all not know what you are doing?
yeah,
Y'all know what you were saying is racist, but they just like they don't care. Like you got an old white woman saying hood, saying invest in your hood, an
that was
old white
crazy.
lady. I was just like, this is wild. And then to see Paperboy bust in that office, about to beat all their asses, and they are just in there celebrating, like, oh yeah, it was a good ad. Like this is what he wanted. He just like, nah, this is definitely not what I wanted. And then they were just like, oh, we sent some money to the Red Cross. Paperboy got so pissed because he was like, they ain't never gonna see that money.
He said that's the worst one.
Which everybody says that. They just like Red Cross is the worst one. They just you're never gonna see that money if you send it to the Red Cross. But
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah. So so that was the end of the paperboard journey. But in the middle of this, we do have a situation with Darius. So when they were getting the food orders, he wanted some jollof rice, and they hadn't heard of it. They didn't know where to find it, and one of the people offered to actually take him to go and get the jollof rice, which she was a bit too inquisitive for me. So you knew, I mean, the vibes that was going to come from her, I didn't feel like it was going to be what we needed anyway. So he goes to this Nigerian restaurant. She's soaking everything all in. She's trying to Shazam the music. What's this? She's looking at the TV. What movie is this? What you got on your plate? What they got on their plate? What they? So I'm already mine already churning within this situation. Like she's doing the whole doing the most. Then she pretty much says that my husband, he has a restaurant business. We're trying to push it. We're out here trying to push this actual business right now. So, I'm thinking about quitting my job and, going full time with him, within it. And then we have Darius, as like I said, he's in this restaurant and he's just happy to be able to get this food because it's been too far out for him to actually just go himself to get it. So he's sitting there, he's taking it all in, and let him and Mimi, they have a conversation, and she asked him, was he Nigerian? And he was like, yeah. And she asked him, I couldn't tell by how your hair looked on there. And they leave, and then he tries to come back a different day, and the restaurant is gone. And that's typically how that goes. Like, they go into these different places, and like she said, he asked her, did where did she go? He was like, I don't know. The person that owned it was trying to sell it. Like, they were eager to sell it. So, we made them an offer they couldn't refuse. So we bought it. And then, they made, they dumbed down the dish in the truck. They made a dish with him, based on him, with peaches and all these different things. And he's like, bro, no, I'm not eating this. Y'all, this is effed up. This ain't what I want. And he throws the food away. From the Niger Bowl. What did y'all think about, that the Niger Bowl?
Man, that whole thing was interesting. A couple of things I noticed. Her name was Sharon, rhymes with Karen. Like, she didn't display Karen behavior, but it was just kind of funny. I don't know if that was intentional. But one of the smaller details that I noticed today on my rewatch, when she actually, the food was on her. She didn't have Darius pay, but she said, your money is no good here. Like,
right,
we pretty much car only. And that's convenient for us, but really when you think about it, it's sort of alienating a certain group of people because everyone doesn't have access to like think about like homeless people, right? If someone asks for money, you're not going to Zelle them, like money, like you're giving them
right.
cash. So you're taking away a certain subgroup of people who can benefit from that restaurant. I noticed it today. I was like, oh, this chick. I was just like,
That was a really good that was a good
It
call.
was.
yeah,
I ain't even think about that. So that's dope.
yeah, I seen that. I was just like, nah, that's kind of OD because it takes away from homeless people. I mean, they can't really purchase the food when they get money from panhandling and everything like that. It was just stuff like that I seen. I was just like, nah, she was so like nonchalant about it. So it was just nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess we have Iron. Iron is in a hotel doing some business. I have to assume as he's leaving out. Of course, he sees Van. Van is in the actual hotel, so he goes to to check her, what's up? It's been weeks. I haven't heard from you. Your mom hasn't heard from you. Everybody is worried. Her retort was, have you spoken with your mom? Does your mom know where you are? And it was, I guess it was a thing of looking at that I get it, being a mom, caring for a kid, you being out. But I also feel like it's a responsibility in that scenario because now it was a conversation between them prior to him leaving in that, within that situation. And now she's just living, no conversation, no nothing. And like I said, at least he's checking in with the people based on his conversation. And she's just living carefree living within that scenario. And we have this lady try to do a citizen arrest on Van. What y'all think? Y'all think she took that wig?
Look, first off, she rode up on Van, grabbed Van arms. She would have got her ass whooped right there in that lobby. It would have been funny.
Jazz, you got some tension built up. What's up? You've been whooping ass all episode.
But Jason, tell me, like when she rode up on Van, did Van not have probable cause to whoop her ass? Like she just rode up on her, like grabbing her arm, like you not going nowhere.
Self-defense. She touched it first. So
thank you, Chris. That's all that is. It's self-defense. Like you accusing her of stealing. Now, if she did it or not, that ain't none of my business. But I'm just saying, citizen's arrest. You ain't got no proof, sis. But looking at Van's track record, she damn sure stole that wig.
Yeah, we'll get there too. I thought it was funny. But even when, Ern was talking to Van when I think it was in a hotel room when he first saw her, and he was just, like kind of explained to her, like, yo, you're a parent. Like, you can't just be disappearing like that. We gotta, have some form of communication. And she was so dismissive of it by her attitude, but Ern kept pressing it. And then she went in for the kiss. So she used the sensual part of it to sort of take him away from that. And it was just, that was something else I noticed too. She just didn't care at all. And then she ended up ghosting him after that. So
yeah, she hit and dipped, got him to be quiet, and she snuck away.
Is that considered ghosting?
As soon as I said ghosting, I looked at Chad.
Is that considered ghosting? I mean, she might have had an appointment the next day.
Where? In Europe? Where?
I don't know her business. I'm just saying you can't. That's not
like it's okay to say she dipped, like, cause he was looking for her. So
but hold on, like she dipped, but Chris is laughing so hard right now.
Like she's trying to justify it.
No,
look at the justification. No. It's okay, but just say it with me.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm Jason.
Wrong.
Jason. I'm just asking a question.
Jazz, Van.
Can I? Yes. My hand is up. My hand is up. Got a question. Right. Is that considered ghosting?
She ghosted him, Jazz. Like, I feel like Jazz want to get this off, and she's trying to see.
I don't know the proper term in that, but yeah, that
so was you can't say that it's ghosting if you don't know. So you just
call it. I call it a hit and run because that's what it was.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just disagreeing with the ghosting part. But
Jazz,
all right, I'm just
Jazz is trying to justify.
Chris is laughing so hard right now
because I feel like Jazz is asking for clarification.
Jazz, are you familiar with the hit and run? Because you trying to take up for her,
Jason. I'm just asking questions that other people could have. I'm
Jazz,
thinking about them.
Question: After you staying over, you leave.
Jason, come on, man. But
you dipping? You staying?
You hear that? Come on. You hear that? Come on, Jason. You know me. You know me.
She gotta go take. She gotta go take her shower. So she gotta leave.
Oh, I left something in the car. I'll be right back.
That's crazy.
Are y'all done?
Are you done? Are you finished? Maybe I'm not. I maybe got some more questions for you. Did you go answer?
Look, hell no.
I'm just trying to see. Yeah, but no, I think that was it. Within that episode, man, that was rocking it.
Yeah, man. And then we get into New Jazz next episode. I've been looking forward. Look, I ain't gonna lie, I've been looking forward to saying that all day, so this is funny. But yeah, New Jazz, we get Ern and I mean not Ern, I'm sorry, Al and Darius, and they're walking down the street. They stop at a I don't know coffee shop, corner store, whatever you want to call it. And I forget the actual drink that Darius tells him about, but he gets it. And this was funny because it was a couple of things that were said in this episode that come back into play later. But one of them was really will let fate decide when he was short the money. And then I was just but I mean, to be fair, fate did sort of decide what happened with Al.
Darius is the broke friend.
But to be honest, now what can he do? I'm just saying within that set. Now I know Ern is making a living for himself being the manager, but I mean Darius was just the homie the entire time. So him being on the road with him, what was he gonna be working at? Doing what?
Man, I'm just sitting here like Paperboy bought your breakfast.
But come on now, Paperboy, he knew that, bro. This dude is just traveling with you. Like, come on. Like, don't stun on him. Come on, you knew he didn't have it.
If y'all out with y'all homeboys and he's in front of you in line.
Jazz, are we on tour? Or are we just out?
Well, currently you are not an artist, so y'all just out. And he was just like,
you guys fate.
So if he's sitting here like fate got me, and he turn around and look you in your eyes.
My name ain't Fate.
Shit. What the girl? Shit. You better go find Fate that fucked the cousin.
Who says that? What is up with all of these things that you've been dropping on his pod lately?
Soul food.
I don't get the soul food. Jason say stuff. Jason be dropping like words.
Cause I be trying to see because I be looking for like who gonna pick it up.
Like, he'd be like, y'all never heard that before? That's the first time.
If I was like, big mom in your arm, I bet you get that.
Yeah.
So you should also know fate. Fuck my husband. You should know that.
Yeah, Jazz is great. Jazz clearly loves so. Man, look. But yeah, Darius is definitely a broke friend. Shout out to Darius though.
I wondered, the thing that they had was it was called a Nepalese cookie.
Yeah.
But they put it on the coffee is what warmed the center. But it made me think about, the what was that show everybody watched last summer? Maybe it was 2 summers ago. The Game.
I know you don't remember.
Squid Game.
Squid Game.
It made me think about that. That's what it made me think of. I wonder if it was one of them type.
Oh, because during one of the things that they had to do was the cookie. Mm-hmm. They had to eat outside of the cookie.
Yeah. Well, lick the
lick the outside of the cookie.
Did you pass?
No.
Did you try it?
No.
Jason, fuck you.
Chris, did you try it?
No, I didn't.
I tried. I did not succeed.
Are you serious? You were asking a real question?
I was. Yeah, look at Jazz, man.
I thought it was a shot at Jazz, but hey.
Oh.
I didn't know what it was. I was just.
I tried.
I thought it was a shot at me too, Chris.
When it was out, I tried to make me some cookies and see if I can lick that thing up out of there. No, I ain't.
Did you record it?
No, what it look like?
Yeah, we don't want to see that.
Jazz?
I'll speak for myself. I don't want to see
yeah.
Just DM Jazz on the side if you want to drop that. I don't want to see you eat no cookie.
Like Jason would have won, y'all. Jason would have won.
Oh man. Back to Atlanta. Yeah, they get the whatever you call them, the cakes and everything. And it was funny too because this episode for me was probably one of the highlights of the season, especially from the gang, because so many different things about it. Now, obviously, they whatever cookie or cake they were eating, it was drugs, and we sort of get to see the side effects of that. One of the funnier parts of this was when they were walking I'm sorry, I keep calling him Ern. Al was running away from these kids who noticed him. They was just like, yo, paper boy. He doesn't want nothing to do with them. He's running away. So he goes into like a room or something. He's looking out and they're tossing a baby. And I'm just kind of like, I still don't know if that was like the drugs or they actually tossed this baby, like playing football with this
Man,
baby.
I feel like this was in his mind, but I feel remember this. This goes back to that season 2 episode. I feel like that's why he kind of ran too.
Yeah,
He got
the
jumped. He got
woods.
jumped. He
Oh
got jumped
yeah,
by. He got
that's
jumped
true.
by his fans.
A little bit of PTSD. But we also saw another part where Al is walking through the alleyway and he sees someone slumped over. And Darius sort of just shrugs it off. He's like, "Oh, that's just a tourist." And they keep going. He has the little goofy hat on and everything. As you know, Al's running, he ends up running into some room and he sees a woman crying. And he's, he's trying to go comfort her, like, yo, why you crying and everything? She's actually performing and we're in like a museum and everything. When I saw this, I was like, where are we going with this whole like episode? Because it's gonna be one of them episodes. I think it was season 2, Jason, that you just said with he got jumped and they were in the woods and everything. So we go back to that. I didn't realize this at first, and I don't know if you guys brought it up. Well, we get to the woman that he meets. Her name was Lorraine. I didn't realize his mom's name was Lorraine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
No, I mean, I didn't know it till they said it.
Right. Yeah. So at this point, I didn't know that. So I thought that was interesting, but I never, put it together, obviously, until I watched it. But he meets her and, she's carefree and just like she's very observant and she's asking like questions and he doesn't want anything to do with her naturally, just some stranger when you tripping out on drugs or whatever. But they end up at a bar, like a secret bar and everything going on here. And this is where we run into Liam Neeson. This like cameo was insane because not only was it Liam Neeson, I don't know if he's been in like a bunch of movies since the whole killing black people comments, but he actually talked about, killing black people in this episode. And we talked about it last week with Kevin Samuels, Art Imitating Life, and just how like sort of eerie that was seeing Kevin Samuels after he passed and then seeing this whole thing with Liam Neeson just popping up. And I think the whole point of the bar was like people who have been canceled or like cancel culture or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny. But she's we go back to Lorraine and she's criticizing Al, with everything, and she's meeting her friends and stuff. Another thing too, I wasn't really sure. This episode kind of confused me, so I may like sort of go to y'all a little bit. But when she's introducing Al to her friends, like, are they real as well? Like, how much of this is real or not? I don't know.
So I'm gonna be honest. When you asked about did we think the baby being thrown was real? Yeah. I thought everything was real. I couldn't even tell you what I thought was fake in this entire episode. Maybe him speaking to Lorraine, but he interacted with so many other people for it doesn't seem like that entire thing was fake. So I don't know I couldn't tell you what I thought was fake during that whole thing. What about you, Jason? Because I really couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell like within that episode, but whenever he walked past like the goofy person that was laying down and he was like, don't be like him. Don't be like him. And he kept on saying it. When Darius kept on saying it, that's when I was like, well, maybe, within that scenario, it was like the trip has already started. So within it, I don't want to, I'm trying to take too much away from the actual episode, but I feel like the entire thing was a trip, honestly. Like from when they left out, he put the iPod in and he seen that rat on the ground. I feel like from that point on was a dream.
Okay, that's interesting. But I thought it I just thought about that. I was just kind of like how much of this was real or not. And then, again, we talked about Al's mom, which sort of leads me, I guess, to it not being real because his mom is named Lorraine. I don't know how much of a conscious. I think she said something that his mom used to say or something to that effect. The whole thing was trippy. But she's just talking to him and he's learning more about himself throughout this whole thing. And he's facing different parts of himself that he really doesn't. He's like questioning and being real paranoid about a bunch of different things. Like, I remember they were in the cancel club and Lorraine's friends, which I found out that she was trans. I didn't realize, but she was sort of saying something to the effect that he got uncomfortable about like a possible relationship between them and everything like that. So I don't know. Like I said, this is like his subconscious, like you said, Jason, everything from that point on was trippy, but we see inside of his mind and why he's thinking about a bunch of the things that he's thinking in that regard. So
yeah.
But she did a good job. for me, I thought she was one of the highlights of the whole season outside of the standalone, like just the
she
gang.
killed it. She
Yeah,
Lorraine, the person that played Lorraine, she killed it for sure.
yeah. But
I think
we
it
get
was.
it. Oh, go
I
ahead,
was
Jess.
no, I was just gonna add like her character and like what she represented, because she was just telling him about himself.
Mm-hmm.
She was telling him things that he needed to hear and not things that he wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially when she asked him like, "Who owns your masters?"
That was a
Because
key.
she's just
Yeah.
like, "I don't like rappers." Because she's just like, "Yeah, y'all do all of this other stuff, but you don't even know where your money is going." And she asked Paperboy like, "Who owns your masters?" He couldn't even answer that question,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy. And so we see how that plays out later at the end of the episode, excuse me. And then how she was just telling him like, "This ain't you. If you got real people around you, they're not gonna have you wearing this stupid hat." And so even though the hat symbolized something maybe small, but it could be something big, to where if you got a bunch of people that's invested in you, they might not try to correct you when you're wrong. And you need people around you that's going to look out for you, make sure you're not on some dumb shit, basically. So
Yeah.
like she was telling him what he really needed to hear.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of thought-provoking conversations with her. But then we get to the point where Alfred is just completely fed up. He doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. They argue, and he's just like out. And he starts tripping out, and he ends up, falling down because of the drugs. And we realize that he was the one from the beginning of the episode who was in the alleyway with the hat on, just like, just shaking out and going crazy. And that's why I said too, like, this episode confused me, but Jason made a good point. For me, I guess it's up to the viewer's interpretation of
Yeah.
like everything that it can be, because it can go both ways. So I thought that was one of the more interesting episodes. It still confused me. I watched it twice. It's still kind of like,
So it was like
I can't tell.
like I said, it was that basically the out of body experience
Yeah,
within that scenario. And like the dude told him before he took it, he said, "You sure you ready for this trip? Because there's no telling where it's going to take you." When he took it, and I just took it as if, excuse me, him talking to himself the entire time, because the entire season it's been a thing of Al finding like a soul searching within Al, from the cell phone thing. He lost his voice, so now he's not trusting his friends because Darius seems like a freeloader, but like Lorraine said, everybody you're dealing with has a vested interest. It's not a thing of these people, they're really looking out for you. But if you really look at it, I mean, to me, it looks as if Earn does have an actual care for Darius. I mean, not Darius, but for Paperboy, because dude is ordering for he exited for 300 chicken wings, all legs, like just 4 o'clock at night. Like he got his lit, whatever he drinks is sitting on the stage whenever he's ready for it. He got it. He took him home. He got him dressed, and whatnot. So I feel like he does care, but I mean, it also is I mean, I feel like in a relationship, it's give and take, as far as when it comes to it. He came to him to be his manager. He fucked up season 1. He fucked up again season 2. He just kept on messing up, and now he's getting it right within that scenario. So now he's not making himself, but he's putting himself in a better situation as well. So it's, I mean, within that. And one thing I did want to bring up was well, 2 things actually. One, they said that a Hennessy White neat is called the Chris
Chris
Evans.
Evans. Yeah.
Then Liam Neeson, he was like, he was talking to him, which they was in Widows together, right? Like they was in
Yes.
Widows.
Yes,
They
they
was in
were in
Widows
Widows.
together.
They were. You're right.
So he was, when he said he was talking to him, he was like, I'm keep it real with you. I still mess with Taken. And he was like, he asked him if he over the, glad he was able to forgive black people. He was like, no, I didn't say that. I still don't like a lot of you. Y'all tried to ruin my career, and we gonna be mortal enemies until the end of my days.
That's
Which
crazy.
was a wild fucking statement to say.
Right.
But although it's it's a TV show type thing. And he was like, the best and worst part of being white is we don't have to learn from a situation if we don't want to, which is a real thing. And I was just like, bruh, and just hearing it from his voice is like super chilling, because he always sounds like he ready to go kill people anyway.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously he thought he really had those particular set of skills in real life. But I'm gonna hand that back to y'all.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. But then we get to the point where he's tripping out and he ends up back at the hotel room. And of course, Ern got his back. He cleaned him off after he threw up on himself and changed his clothes and everything. And it goes back to the whole subconscious thing too. It was like he was doubting Ern pretty much throughout the season, because I mentioned earlier in the Old Man in the Tree, when they brought him to the billionaire's house, and he was sort of upset at first before he realized it was a decoy house. He was like, what are we doing? Like, what are you actually doing? And then I remember with the episode with Cancer Attack, and Ern was pretty much anticipating everything Paperboy wanted. He was like, I want something to drink. He was like, your ginger beers on stage, and, his food and everything. So Ern is showing that he's on top of stuff, and it seems like Al still has those doubts in his mind. So you see that manifest with Lorraine throughout this whole episode. But then of course, Al ends up asking Ern, who owns my masters? And he's like, well, you do. As if to say, like, I got you. I wouldn't let something like that, go unnoticed. And I thought it was a really good episode. I thought, like I said, it still confused me to some parts. And the whole time loop, hallucination trippy thing was dope. But I like, for me, looking back at it now, some of the Al standalone episodes are some of the best. The barbershop episode and In the Woods, and then we get this one. All those are really dope. So the barbershop episode was funny. That was just that was just crazy.
Messing up, stealing your time throughout the day. Do y'all think he owns his masters?
That's another thing. Like, was Ern? I don't think Ern would lie to him, but it's still the way that it comes up. It's kind of like, does he really? So
I think he do.
Yeah, but it just leaves a little bit of skepticism the way he said.
Because he asked him, what makes me question it, because he said it twice. He was like, huh? Like, you heard him when he asked you the first time.
So
Lord, Jason and his doubt. But
that's what the episode was about. Like, he said, you paranoid, you don't trust nobody.
Right.
And that's what it was,
And I definitely want to add, since we mentioned the episode from season 2, The Woods, that was also season 8, where he because his mother was brought up. And so this episode was also episode 8 of season 3.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was a dope connection right there, because it references his mom. Because when he woke up, he was asking Ern, where's Lorraine? And Ern was like, your mom? And then Paperboy was just like, never mind. So I thought that was kind of cool and kind of eerie. So
it may be how I go though. Y'all don't watch it, but I was watching Rick and Morty, and they had a situation like that where they put themselves in a simulation, and they imagine people in different. It was still who they wanted it to be, but it was imagined as somebody different. So just imagine if you had a dream, and let's say you thinking about somebody that you really cared about, they passed, but they had a different face, and this person talking to you like how you imagine them talking to you in that scenario. So it's just like, somebody that you felt safe with, but also somebody that's telling you what you, like I said, Jazz, need to hear in that situation. So
yeah.
But y'all had taken that cookie.
In a closed environment, like I wouldn't want to be out. Then again, I don't know who's like in Charlotte together, like in that the whole trip thing. I might.
If it was like a group of us at the beach, that might be fine.
Jazz want to go to the beach, man. I ain't you in the beach. You love the beach.
I can swim now. You tried it.
Cool, Chris.
I didn't say nothing. Did you talk
I didn't say nothing. I just said she loved the beach.
Nah, because Chris said you drowning. And I'm like, not Jazz.
Oh, and I said, I wasn't trying to. Nah, I just think drugs and water, I'm good. But hey, man. But like
the vibes can be right though.
Yeah.
It was dope that Darius got them mini was it
nanos?
That was pretty dope. And just listening to music, just walking down the street.
That's why I'm like, that's like if I was in a closed environment, like not moving around, because you don't want to. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm not super in control of myself. So I wouldn't want to be around a controlled environment, people I trust type situation. I would have definitely. I would do it.
Yeah, I could feel that. Maybe in the house or something like that. I get that.
Chris, you would do it?
No, I'm saying I'm agreeing with you.
I'm like,
Jason,
whoa.
right?
All right, let's settle down. So, so we get
Live
the
pod gonna be lit.
what is that? Like, who does that? Jason is.
I'm just trying to. It's
All right, settle down, Tony the Tiger. What was that? Episode 10. I don't know how to pronounce this, Jason.
ta-da! That's what they were saying in the episode.
Oh, okay. There you have it. Hey, ta-da. Well, we get here and we get a familiar face. Candace, I think her name is.
Candace.
Yeah, she was in the Drake episode. Was it
Champagne Poppy.
Champagne Poppy. She's Van's friend, and she's talking to two other women, and they're just, in Paris, just kicking it, doing whatever. I forgot the dialogue, but I know something was brought up later on, and the reason
you forgot the dialogue. You need me to remind you of the dialogue.
I can remind you of the dialogue.
You got it, Jazz.
I got you. So basically,
I just remembered it. Oh boy, the lost tapes.
Right. All right, so basically Candace is talking to her two homegirls. They are in Paris, and I believe they came out here with Candace because she's out here to link up with someone that she knows that she does a service for. What is the service? She urinates on him. So the two ladies are just like, sis, what? And she was just like, he flew me out here, he got me somewhere to stay, and I just gotta pee on him. And so they was just like, how much? $6K.
Man.
Look, yes. Immediately.
Jazz didn't even ask the question. She just was like, yes.
Look, Garrett, look.
Yeah,
and it was funny.
6 racks, shit. What do you want it?
I ain't even asking that. I don't care.
Just,
And when gas was $4.50, hey, we'll take gas. Hey. Look, Jazz would have all
You
on your
telling
face,
you,
man.
you,
It is what
you
it is.
pissing on somebody for a tank of gas?
Jason, you know how much that shit was. My card takes plus. Yes.
This is funnier when you found out Jazz works from home. So it's just like so Jazz is just like it's not like she's driving to the office every day. She's like,
Yeah,
I need to
man. So like, you know what? This funny. Amiri. Shout out to Amiri.
Yeah.
What is happening right now?
Friend of the show. Friend of the show.
Don't do that.
He was talking about Jazz degrading men. So this just goes along with the degrading of men that Jazz is into. She wants to piss on the man for a tank of gas. Gentlemen.
Wait, right. Yo.
She will piss on you for a tank of gas. Also,
Jason.
earlier this week, you know I love music. Anybody that knows me, they know I love music. Chris, we share music often, we even share it with Jazz. Jazz did not want to hear sad music from a woman's perspective. She only wanted to hear men cry over women that they had lost on the heartbreak day. Jazz loves to see men hurt and degraded.
Jason.
Jazz, I need you to seek therapy, my child.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
You said all of that.
Stretch.
That was insane what he just did. Exactly, Chris. Because basically,
Chris, was you? Chris,
I'm with it.
No.
That was just a stretch, but I'm rocking.
Jason, can we please sit up here and say what was I listening to? I was listening to Boys to Men. So
we're not talking about the loving day. We're talking about the night we was like, yes, we just talking about sad music, and we were just sharing sad songs. And you was like, I don't want to hear no women sing nothing. I want all men heartbreak songs. And I was like, yo,
I want them to cry.
What's crazy? Jason, I do not remember this conversation. I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
All right, cool. I got you. That's gonna be one of the screenshots we post on page this time.
That sounds crazy. I feel like when I was listening to Boys to Men, and I said, I remember in the 90s, the fellas used to cry to bring her back. Because Boys to Men got a lot of tracks out there where he was, baby, I don't care about your mistakes. So they was forgiven. And I was listening to forgiven music. That's it. Like,
I just love how each of y'all trying to spin it to fit y'all own narratives. But we know
Chris, who you believe?
Listen, man.
Did
What you
Jazz
say?
like the gray men or no?
No.
That's,
Look.
She laughs.
Jason,
Man.
wait, Chris. What's Jazz? What's like
you can't even get it out.
Chris? How many fender benders you been in, Chris?
Oh man, like 2, I think.
Any of them been with people?
Nah.
Jazz, how about you? How many fender
What?
benders you been in?
What are you talking about? No.
I just asked a question. That's all I asked. Have you been in a fender bender?
Nope.
You ever thought about a fender bender with people, like bodies?
What?
He's
This questioning is insane.
You ever thought about taking the car and running a person over? You ever thought about that?
Outside of Grand Theft Auto, no, Jason, I have not. Grand Theft Auto, like Chris, you run people over too. Like, no. Y'all wilding.
Jazz
right
ain't
now.
never talked about Grand Theft Auto in the whole time I know her. Now all of a sudden she running people
Wait
over.
a minute. I have
there is an episode she talked about it, but this ain't no episode. We talk about her.
I'm just like, look.
We're gonna let Chris finish his ta-da episode.
Yeah, salute. So she basically paying on dues. And she gets up and she sees Van. And it was like, Van is, who are you? Which is weird because not only that, she's speaking French. And she's just like, this isn't you. Like, and Van is completely warped. Like we saw, traces of it throughout, the beginning parts of the season where she's like, panic attack or like losing herself or like carefree and everything. Now she just full blown. She doesn't care. She got bread in her backpack. She's speaking French. She act like she don't know people. Like the bread is an important piece. We'll get back to the bread in a minute. But she's just completely like isn't concerned about anything. And Candace is just like, yo, it's me. And she's trying to pretend, but she can't keep up the facade anymore. So finally, she's just like, come with me and we're going on an adventure. This episode it felt like a different show the whole time. Like obviously it's Van, but it felt like a completely different show. And I don't think Al or Darius were in it at all, were they?
No, it was just
Van. So it's just completely Van the whole time and her adventures with these women. We get to what happens next?
They get to Van's apartment, and so
yes, and we get the Alexander, the dude who played Tarzan.
Oh, we don't get to him yet, Chris. We get to Van's apartment to where
it's her apartment when she getting them wine. She's ignoring text messaging on her actual phone, and they see that she's been modeling.
Yeah. Which is I wasn't sure if that was her in those magazines because I was just like, Van, how long have you been here? But
that's what I'm trying to figure out the timeline. Because I
still don't know.
Yeah, because even with the episode White Fashion with Darius, like the restaurant, it was there and then he just came back. It couldn't have been the next day. And it was just a whole like food truck. So I'm trying to figure out the timeline of everything.
So with that, Darius made a statement that I actually caught today when I did my rewatch. He was just like, now this is me paraphrasing. I think it was something along the lines of, he was just like, well, that was fast. To where I don't think too much time went by when they closed that restaurant down to where she got her food truck, which normally that entire process seems like it would take a couple of months, but Europe. So the timeline, I'm still not sure what it was.
Yeah, I just thought about that. We don't know the timeline, but then of course, she's at her apartment and she has a boyfriend. I forgot his name. Marcel?
Yep.
Okay, Marcel, she's talking about that. And then we get to the guy who played Tarzan's apartment, and they have something implied that they have some sort of sexual relationship, and he's, getting ready to do whatever. She starts planting drugs all over his apartment. I'm just like, where did she get all these drugs from? And then why is she planting drugs? And her friends are like so confused. They're like, what is going on? And she's just like, oh, it's just a game we play. Just keep going. She goes down to the receptionist and just like, he's dying or whatever. So she pretty much sets him up from this point on. And I'm just like, what is Van doing? Like, she's like, and it's funny, Jazz, we mentioned when she was accused of stealing a wig, she's wearing a wig throughout.
Was that the same?
That's a
It's
good
gotta
thing.
be.
I
It's
didn't even
gotta
think
be.
about it.
It's
Yeah, I
gotta
didn't think
be.
about that either.
Yeah, that I caught that. I was just like, it's pretty sure. I was gonna say it earlier, but I knew we was getting to this
Right.
episode. Yeah, but she stole the wig. She still should have beat that white lady up, but she stole the wig. Don't grab me accusing me of nothing, but she stole the wig. Um, and everything that's going on with that. They go to, is it the part where they go to like the, I don't want to say the projects, but it's just like run
Nah, it was
down.
the projects.
It's a
Yeah,
project.
yeah, and
Yes.
they go there, and it's just like she checks for some package that's not there, and she's like visibly upset. They try to go back to the motorcycle. The motorcycle's been, you good?
Yeah.
Motorcycle's been stabbed up, the wheels and everything. Then these people roll up on her, and they ready to kill her. And
They
I'm
did
just,
that so fast because it doesn't even seem like they went from their motorcycles to where that package should be. It like you didn't hear nobody run behind you, put a knife in your scooter, then run away. I thought that was kind of weird. But then
That's some Jeepers
also
Creepers type shit.
it right. But I will say, like during this scene, one of the ladies said, "This looks like a scene from Candyman." And Van was just like, "Oh, it does, doesn't it?" Which is funny because Van in earlier episodes this season said this area looks like something from Tales from the Hood.
oh, that's what you, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I got it now.
So
Okay.
it's dope that they had like two different Black horror movie references. And I know that we spoke on like we had our discussions of like Black horror classics. And so like Tales from the Hood was one of them, and then Candyman was one as well. But I thought that was pretty dope that they had those two like different callbacks for Black horror movies.
Yeah. And then we get to this point and they call Van Tadar. And I didn't know about this whole story. Jason actually told us about Tadar. It was actually it was a book, right, Jason?
Who? A book? No. It was a man.
Well, yeah, it was a man who ate
Oh
the
yeah.
baby, but is that like a story? That wasn't written.
No, it was a real person. He was eating, he would just eat anything. His stomach could stomach it some kind of way, but he was just eating bolts, bugs, slugs, anything he could pick up, he was just eating it. And he went into a military wherever they are in France, and they was trying to have him infiltrate things after he ate it. I don't know how they was get it back out of him, but they had him stick things in, and eventually he went to like a hospital, and allegedly he ate a baby. So yeah, that's where they got the baby eater from, which makes sense based on what they eating in this episode. But
Yeah, we get there. That got dark quick though. I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah.
Jazz looked like she want to say something.
I'm away.
We get to that, and then Vane is clearly upset. They run away, and they go to the art gallery, and she's looking for the package or whatever. And the guy's name, I forget his name, but she's very upset with him, and this is where the bread, Emilio. This is where the bread comes in. She's big time. Like everyone knows her. Like she's just like sort of feared, and it's just kind of like what happened to Van in such a short amount of time? But she's clearly created this whole new persona, running away from who she actually is. And Candace sees it, and she's just kind of like, you really tripping right now. But we get to this point. This is really where they start to get worried because she is a beaten dude with a like weeks old bread and with a baguette. And I was just kind of like, you see why she's carried this bread all around the whole time. It's a weapon. And I'm just sitting there watching this. I'm just like, this is not Atlanta. I'm thinking it's a dream episode or something. It's just like what is actually going on, but like all of it is just completely insane.
It's funny because one of the girls was just like, she's still walking around with this bread, and we don't know why she's still walking around with it. But then they finally see it, and they're just like, oh yeah, it was definitely worth the wait, because they were just like so excited to see Van beating dude with this bread.
Yeah.
And then the dude finally tells her like where the package is.
Yeah.
And then one of the girls just gets the vase and drops it, and that vase is like thousands of dollars in euros. And then Van is just like, this is the other one. Don't break it.
Yeah, that was some nice meta commentary, because they kept talking about that bread, and it was like, man, I wonder what's gonna happen. It's, it was definitely. I'm like, yeah, it was actually.
And the way she was dragging the bread before she beat him up, I was just like, oh nah, like this is crazy. But we ended up getting the packet. I thought it was money, but we'll get to that.
Drugs, more crack.
Anything but what we actually got. But she we get to this party, and it's a weird party. And Candace is super concerned at this point. She's like, all right, you done beat people with bread, like you just acted crazy. We need to talk. And Van is just not having it. And she ends up going down to the kitchen to see her boyfriend. And apparently they're having some big feast. And the other two girls is just like, yo, I'm trying to stick around. Like we come this far, we got to see. You know, it was really good. They having a blast. And Candace is just like, nah, she tripping. Something ain't right. But we end up getting downstairs to her boyfriend. What's his name?
Emilio.
Marcel.
No, Marcel.
Oh,
that's
Marcel.
his name. Emilio's the dude she beat up. Marcel. They end up cooking everything, and it turns out to be a hand. And it's just like we're at a feast now. We're cooking hands, and Candace is just really trying to talk to her, like, yo, what is going on? You can talk to me and everything. I think we mentioned this in one of our previous reviews where someone was trying to get through to somebody talking to him, and they like, you couldn't really, it was Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And they was just really trying to get through talking to him, and they just wouldn't get through. That was Candace, but Van, she's pretty much just like out of it completely, and she's so focused on working in the kitchen and everything like that, going crazy. And then we end up getting to the guy, the Tarzan dude. I didn't understand the point of this scene, but they get into it because obviously she planted drugs on him, and he starts jerking off in the bathroom. I don't understand. Is that his kink or?
That had to be a kink type thing.
Yeah, because she spit on him, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I don't know
Jason,
what that.
Some men like to be degraded, as we saw in this episode.
Wait, Jess,
look at what she's still looking for.
Jess just confirmed everything.
No, I'm just confirming something that we all saw. She spit in his face. He went to the bathroom. Spit was still on his face. And he was, getting his rocks off. And he was just like.
Is that one of your kinks, Jess?
To what?
Spit on people.
No.
Take a drink. You playing Have I Never. I want y'all to remember that. We started this game, Have I Never. Me and Chris did not drink. All right, Chris, you can continue.
Yeah, but she's cooking the hands and everything, and then they go back to the party and everyone's wearing like paper towels and napkins over their head, and the two girls is like mad excited, like, oh, what we about to do? Like they just snort. It's just like, oh, we about to eat everything, and then we end up realizing it's hands, and they just like, nah, we out. Like they just like, oh hell no, like just get up and just like run out of everything. And I'm just like, nah, this was just, I don't know if it's like a custom or like underground cult thing, whatever. All of that was weird. But Candace, of course, she's still trying to get through the van, and she finally mentions Lottie, who is Ern and Van's child. And Van just snaps. It was just like something just like triggered in her, which is the only thing that was really she cared about. And she starts having a panic attack. And then we talked about episode 2 with, she had first mentioned the panic attack to the death doula with Tupac and everything, but she sort of, she saw the devil eggs and she brushed it off. Now she's having to confront everything, and Lottie's name triggered that. So I thought this scene, like I think the whole episode, she was a great actress, but for whatever reason, this part really stood out to me. She was just like breaking down, crying and going crazy, and just everything that was going on. We see what happened. And Candace was a good friend. We see some character development from her, because I don't think she was the best of friends in the Champagne Papi episode. But now, we get back to growth and everything like that. And she's talking to her, and she's asking her about like her plans and everything and what she's really gonna do. And she doesn't really know who she is. But we get to that scene with everything going over here, and she's just, consoling her and, just letting her know everything going to be okay, pretty much, and they can go back home. And then we get to the other girl, I don't remember their names, but she's clearly intrigued about what Candace was telling her about.
I am too.
Oh, Jason. Well, okay, Jason, I'll let you handle the scene. We go, she's intrigued. She goes to a hotel room, man opens the door. Take it away, Jason, because this is just...
Hey man, we've been talking about the entire time. I'm gonna get this money. So she go to the man penthouse. Just imagine you go to a penthouse, you got the view of the Eiffel Tower. Like that would be amazing. And then just to have to pee on somebody while looking at the Eiffel Tower, that'd be like, I don't know, that'd be nice. That would be nice.
Just
Nice
turn some
views.
music on.
Yeah, exactly. Turn it, splash waterfall.
Splash waterfall.
In there.
But it's crazy to me, like how long she was like peeing. Like
She said she had two Gatorade.
Right.
Bruh, I've had.
Like, you want some champagne? She was like, no. I done had 2 Gatorades. Let's get this going.
Then you start hearing like drowning, and I was just like,
Oh.
I was like, no. I was like, oh, this show is great. I wasn't expecting the season to end right there. I think I checked Wiki one time. I was like, is this the last episode? And it was just, that's how season 3 ends. But then, of course, they take a page out of Marvel. We get a post-credit scene. And someone knocks on the door for Ern, and they're like, hey, you left your luggage at the airport. And Ern's like, nah, not really, but he's confused. We get back, he opens the bag, and it's just a bunch of like different memorabilia. I know it was a shirt, I think it was something else, but then we saw a picture, and the picture is the white man from episode 1, and of course the big payback. What was his name, Jason? Ern. His name is E, but his name was same name and everything. And it just
first name, last name.
Yeah, and it was just surreal because like Jazz mentioned earlier, Ern was dreaming, at the beginning of episode 2. He woke up from the dream, of course, after 3 slaps and everything. But then we get this picture, we're just like, that was all real. Like what's real, what's not. So it's go to like a Twilight Zone type, kind of crazy, weird moment that we get. And that's how the season ends. I thought it was a cliffhanger and I was sort of upset, but then of course we got season 4 not that long after, so that made up for it a little bit. But I thought it was really well done. It was just like I said, like it gave off kind of horror-ish movie vibes in the sense where it was unsettling, certain things that were happening throughout the season. Like, we talked about everything that was going on with Al, with New Jazz. You had this, scene with Ern, and then him seeing the picture and everything like that. So you just like, what's really weird. Then of course it made it even weirder that he actually killed himself during the previous episode. So the timeline, everything about this season. But it was a good season. It was just, like I said, I felt a little unsettled after I watched it, so I didn't really know how much to take away from it.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes a lot of sense. And because just trying to see how these standalones intertwine with the original crew episodes, because I don't believe we had any standalones in the first 2 seasons, did we?
No, it was mostly dealing with the crew. Like sometimes you had like Teddy Perkins in the woods, you had like character focus, right? But it wasn't. Yeah, so that was just kind of weird.
So this season was definitely unique. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, season was fine. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I guess that answers the question of was it good though? Yeah, like we all enjoyed it. Y'all got any ledges for this season overall? Jazz feel like she got one good. She got that look on her face.
No, I don't think I have any ledges, honestly.
Okay. Jason, any ledges for you?
I just hope there's a payoff for the socks situation. Yes. Hope that comes back up, like, in there. So that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I'm confident. Oh.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna say I'm confident it will be because Lorraine was brought back up. We saw, like the mother story with Al that was sort of played off of the woods, and then this episode with New Jazz, it was sort of like a sequel in a sense where it was still him dealing with his thoughts and different things like that. First he had the man in the woods, and then we having Lorraine, talking to him. So I think it'd be addressed. They do a pretty good job of cleaning up storylines.
And then I'm curious, since it seems like the episode numbers from each season could be connected.
Yeah.
So if we think of it like that, we always record on Thursdays. So Atlanta comes on this evening. I'm curious because this is episode 3, and we were introduced to socks in episode 3 of season 1, right? Or it's not season 1, excuse me, season 3.
Yeah, it was 3. Yeah.
So I mean, we'll tweet about it tonight. This will, by the time y'all hear this, it'll be the past. But I'm curious because that would be really dope. Like if we see anything related to socks that drops.
Yeah. Jazz, I'm telling y'all, Jazz getting ready for that album. That you got a name yet? Singles coming out? Anything?
Nah.
Oh, okay. She landed. Okay. Jason,
toes and hoes.
Yeah, so it was good. No ledges. Link of Thrones. Y'all know what it is. We'll see. We had a lot to pick from Atlanta. Like this, the cast is ridiculous. And it's funny too, because I think we talked about this before. A lot of the cast members, like Van's actors, Brian Tyree, and even Lakeith, I don't think they were as big as they were when Atlanta started. Like Atlanta first came out like 2016, and like they've been in like some crazy good projects and movies since then. So we should have some good Link of Thrones here. Jazz.
I was gonna challenge y'all to a Link of Thrones. And this
Oh,
might, yeah. I was going to say, because since we have a full cast, could y'all give a character from these last 6 episodes we just reviewed and say which Marvel movie they were in?
oh, I can do that. You know, I can do that. I got that.
Only give one, because some of y'all like to throw out multiple projects out there. Just one. So I'm gonna let y'all go first because I already got mine off the top of my head.
Okay,
This should be easy.
Yeah, Jason, you want to start with me?
Sure, I got Brian Tyree in Eternals.
That's hilarious. Yeah, he was in Eternals. I wouldn't. Well, whatever. Shout out to Eternals. Donald Glover. He was in Spider-Man. No Way. Far From Home. No, he was in Homecoming. And
Homecoming.
Yo, that's another thing we talked. Huh? Jazz. Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. No, that's another thing I want to see if they resolve because he's actually Miles Morales' relative. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna work.
I was gonna say, because Chris, you just took mine. So I'm gonna say Zazie Beetz. She was Domino. You said what? Damn, Jason, did you just say mine? But I mean Domino and Deadpool too. Damn, you got excited for my Link of Thrones?
I mean, I knew all of them on top of my head, so it was just like, you know.
So you just like, let me go ahead and say Jazz is fire?
I mean, you know. Lakeith wasn't in no Marvel, huh?
Nah. Yeah,
I think it's coming for sure.
But yeah. That just came off the dome. I didn't think about that ahead of time, but I was just like,
a lot comes off of there. Did you have actual Link of Thrones? Did you have actual Link of Thrones?
Yeah, I did. That's funny. Jason.
You got me there, right?
Oh man. Link of Thrones is actually funny. We talked about this earlier. I think Jason mentioned it. Mine is gonna be Brian Tyree Henry. He was in Widows, but I'm not gonna use Widows. I'm gonna use Bullet Train. Bullet Train just dropped earlier this year. Definitely recommend that movie. And that cast is like even Marvel. We had like a bunch of people from Marvel, well, a couple people from Marvel and Bullet Train. But yeah, I would definitely say check out Bullet Train.
I'm going to say Alexander Skarsgård. He was
True
Eric
Blood.
and
So want to go to mine? Cool.
Yo, Jason.
You are such a dick. You are such a dick.
Why do I feel like Jason looked up the characters just so he could have that moment to step on Jazz's look at?
No, but because in the episode they said it, and I know Jazz enjoyed that show. So was it that? It was that. It was that, right? I be thinking I confused that in Teen Wolf. So I'm having a.
You ain't never heard me say I fuck with Teen Wolf the series.
I know. I said I confused them. My mind confuses them, but I guess it's some Twilight type shit with the vampires and werewolves. So maybe that's what my mind does.
True Blood is like on a totally different level than Twilight. True Blood is fire.
And of course, I'm going with Candace's character. She plays Brittany Pitts in the game.
What? Really?
The new one?
Yeah.
She's the older
Jason
Brittany.
Pitts. Yeah, she's the older Brittany. So yeah, she's currently playing that role.
Oh, I haven't seen the new one. Wow,
Jason said it was good.
Yep. Yes, they just got renewed for season 2.
I might have to check it out.
I don't even know what it's streaming on, but
Paramount.
Oh yeah, I'll use that.
If only there was a Paramount.
I got a link for you. I have a login. I got a link for the show. I mean,
that's good enough. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add for this episode?
Nah, I mean, Atlanta season 3 was dope. I don't know if I initially said this was my favorite season, then I went back and rewatched, and I was just like, I was tripping. But it was still a great season. Donald Glover, like I said, he's been in his bag. The standalone episodes was a nice touch, and I like how it connected to, at the end, the main group. And then even some little things that was sort of a crossover from the standalone and the the main crew. So I thought it was really good.
mad at this being the best season. I mean, well, feel like being the best one. I mean, but all of them are good. Like for me, they are good. So it's kind of hard to say. I like the direction of 3, which Teddy Perkins is the reason 3 was changed, or not. Let me not say changed. The direction was given because everybody really liked that Teddy Perkins episode, although it's like super horror, eerie type. When we got into it. How y'all feeling about the new season so far?
So far, so good, man.
I'm not gonna lie. Episode 2, I hate that I felt so bad for sis.
That's that white guilt, Jazz. You need to get that monkey off your back. Or that. No, I ain't gonna say that.
Good job. But for somebody to be that petty for so long, boy, that's dangerous.
The petty king.
It's crazy. But so far, I definitely enjoying it. So.
Yeah, nah, it's definitely.
I think I like the first one more than the second one. I know Chris said he liked this one. Yeah, that first one, I was like, bro, what's going on? So man, RIP to the OG, as Chris like to say, to MF Doom. That was which is one of his favorite villains. So that's kind of dope as well. They did that.
Yeah, and then even the whole, Art imitated life with the Darius thing. He's getting chased around by the lady in the wheelchair, and she get lit up with the fire extinguishers. I was just like, bro, this show. When I saw it, I think I put it in the chat. I was like, this show was freaking hilarious, and it was just like that was really the first 5 minutes of the show. So yeah, man.
That's funny. The thing that stood out to me was Van and
we know.
Man.
Jazz.
Jason is it.
So
Nah.
How do you feel? How do you handle situations you out, with a current and you see some ex-boos with the S?
I already said how I treat those situations. Like,
you don't see them.
No.
You don't acknowledge them? I'd make sure you acknowledge me if I sent you. You gonna have to speak to me.
Do.
Because what you doing? What you don't act like you don't know who I am.
You are my past.
No, I'm not. I'm in front of you, obviously. So I ain't your past.
Then you just pretend you don't see me.
No, you're not John Cena, baby. I'm speaking. You're going to hear me.
No, Jason. You be trying to cause a scene when it.
You didn't know. I wasn't going to. You didn't. All you had to do was throw a hand up. Give me a little bit of that. You ain't gotta.
Not in front of my dude. What am
I do? What am I do? Hey, you remember that time we was doing what? Like, no, I just said, hey.
No. Wait, is that what you do? Is your hand is up like that? That's
you can't just give like a head nod or nothing? Like,
I'm not even making eye contact.
I'm not making eye contact. Jazz gonna hit you with you. She gonna put her head down. Oh, what you doing?
Look, hey, yo, at Comic-Con, I said, whoop.
That's a different story. That's a completely different situation.
I met Comic-Con like 2 months ago.
I know. That's a different situation.
I was like, I'm looking this way. Don't.
He gives some serial killer vibes. I definitely would have been like, no. If that ain't the vibes that they have, no. I'm saying too much.
Just don't look. If you see me out, like we can just pretend we don't even know each other. There's no point of us even having a conversation. Especially.
It's just a hey, man. Don't act like you don't know who I am.
What does that do for you though? Like seriously.
Unless it's not to just do something, but don't act like you don't know me, cause it ain't like unless we end it on bad terms. Don't act like that. Don't act like that with me.
But hold on, does it have to be bad terms if it was just it just ended? Like you went your way, I went mine, nobody's mad. Why do I need to speak to you?
So it is different. If it was like amicable, like we ain't had no bad blood, no, crazy back and forth.
We like
saying what's up ain't bad. Like that's just like
I ain't act like I said, hey, let me come grab on your booty. I just said, hey, let me throw a hand up. Just throw a hand. Be like, oh, what's up? Question. So when y'all get in a relationship, are y'all gonna talk about y'all horror stories with them? This tell me I need to know.
The fact that men in their pride be messing him up, I just don't see how that could benefit anybody to tell him about my past.
You don't see how to benefit. Maybe
Is
I
there a
want
benefit?
maybe I want to know the gauge of what we going to.
Some things you may not want to know the answers to, brother.
See, that's
I'll
but if I wanted to, are you gonna tell me? Or is you gonna keep it a secret, like you out here keeping secrets when you see your booze and you can't even speak to them in public? Is you ashamed of these niggas? You know they ugly, looking like the Predator and the alien in the face. Sam Cassell looking at
First off,
I would hide them too. You know what, Chris? End this episode, boy.
somebody is projecting and it's crazy right now.
I'm speaking out of mine. I'm speaking to anybody I knew.
Jason gonna be loud with it too. Yo,
exactly.
Which I do not understand.
What's good?
It's just like,
you good?
Like, why?
Don't text me on the low. You seen me. I seen you. I seen you see me. See you see me.
But Jason,
what are you doing?
If it's somebody that you stopped talking to 2 years ago and y'all see each other out, are you expecting her to speak to you?
If I ain't seen her in 10 years, Jazz, I expect her to speak to me. You hear me?
This is, you know what?
No, what you mean? So you don't catch you catch up with people from school? Or you catch up with people from school? You see them? Yeah,
me?
Yeah.
Jason, I don't.
Jazz cut her whole life off, Chris.
I ain't gonna lie. I've definitely seen people I went to high school with it acting like I ain't know who they was. So I definitely just
okay. Y'all them whack people. Y'all whack.
Whack.
That's why I started lying about knowing people. I don't remember that motherfucker. And I know them. I probably know their mom and their daddy too. That's my toxic trait is I lie about knowing shit, and I'd have a pretty good memory.
Hey, Jace.
Nah, we ain't playing that. But yes, this was what was it? 16? This episode 16, Jazz?
Episode 16, everybody.
This is episode 16. We doing Atlanta. We talked about Atlanta, and we talked about fake exes, and people don't know how to talk. They chop off their past. Unlike me, I can embrace the past because you gotta know where you was at to know how you're gonna get to where you're trying to go to. You gotta use all them skills to get there, Jazz.
But Jason,
Jazz, no. Ain't nothing you got nothing to say because you rude. You rude.
Jason.
You rude.
Let him have it, Jazz.
You rude. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening to the episode. It's been fun. It's been real. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know. Tell Jazz she rude. She likes to degrade men. Talk to her exes. This is 3 points I proved in this episode why I'm right. Deuces.
See y'all next week.